Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Flyover Instead of Film. That's right, guys. That's right. It's Halloween, finally. I'm sorry, I haven't finished. I have a casting call real soon, so while we do the recording, I'm going to get ready for a call, so don't mind me.
Yourself.
I blew myself. But please welcome my boys, my compatriots, fellow bullies with no personalities. Brian, Joe. Oh, that was good. That was good.
That's tight.
TJ. Oh, you're the meme. Nice.
Yeah, I'm the meme, but also
running away. Get it?
I'm a teenager. I'm a teenager in high school, obviously, right?
What?
This is Voorhees.
Well,
It's the real. Oh my gosh! It's the real killer. That was legitimately. I think Scream legitimately spoiled that for me. I don't know if I'd ever seen Original Friday when I saw Scream.
Oh really? This by the way, this knife is way too sharp to keep out to be like.
That looks
That
real.
looks like a real knife, like real.
It's a handmade real knife. That was a gift, and it's way too sharp. I don't actually use it for anything. So I don't want to pull a Jusef like last episode and fucking bleed everywhere.
Lop your finger off.
Oh, update! Yeah. My finger pretty much healed itself, so we're good. We're good. So
Jusef, for a second, let me real quick tell people who are under the age of 40 who I'm supposed to be. Anybody who didn't watch the WWE in the 1980s doesn't know, but I'm the Beast from the East, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Like me.
Man, no, Bam Bam really had like something happening, and then just fell apart.
New Jersey trash, baby.
Yeah.
Just like, all drugs and alcohol, and then it's just too overweight. But for that brief moment, he was so fucking good.
He could do a moonsault. He was the first guy I ever saw that was that size who could do the moonsault. Yeah. That's intense.
Just let your weight carry you.
Right? All right, guys.
Oh, no.
Since the Halloween episode is the best episode of the year, I went out and I bought this beautiful skeleton beer bong. So we're just going to kick it off with a skeleton beer bong, christen it on Flyover.
Wow. Grown adult.
While our boy promotes excessive drinking, let's explain to everybody, all of us have their own franchise. This is our fourth Halloween showdown?
Yeah, schmodown. Yeah, we coined the term.
Oh, that was great.
You good?
Oh, that's a good product placement. You can cut that picture of you holding that up. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be right back though to empty it in the tub because I don't want to
just drink it.
My desk dirty.
Remind me not to stand up at all.
What we do every year is like everybody is strapped with a horror franchise that has 4 or more entries in it. Downstairs is going to be all the other episodes linked. We've already covered a few, but this time around we have TJ with Wishmaster, me with Phantasm, Brian with Child's Play, and if you couldn't tell by his costume, Joe with the Friday the 13th.
Hell yeah.
Harrison
about we-
insisted Chucky join me. So,
Oh, hi, Chucky.
everybody, say hi to
Shout out
Chucky.
to Don. I hear the series is killing it. I'm super happy for him.
I've seen the first 2 episodes. We can talk about it later.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
So how about we start from least to most in terms of entries in the franchise, and in this case, TJ Wishmaster, 4 entries. How about you enlighten us with what you experienced with your marathon?
Let's just say the first movie. Has anyone else seen this other than maybe Jusef?
I've seen the first one.
The first one.
Okay.
I've seen the first one too, but I don't remember shit except just what he looks like.
It
Like,
kind of
that's all you
reminded me
see.
like when just going off of it was like so they were trying to do a new Freddy. Like here's a killer that uses more, gets more creative and does more. It kind of felt a little bit like that.
And it's
Yeah,
also
makeup
very,
of-
It gets super
very
repetitive.
quippy.
with the makeup of Tenacious D's Devil, the Dave Grohl
But
Devil.
even like the Creeper, like for Jeepers Creepers too, it's like a big. I mean, not that they took for that because that came off, but regardless, it's about this like museum or a fine arts collector who finds. I don't know the background of the creature at all. If he calls himself
He's a
the
djinn.
Wishmaster.
He's
Djinn,
a
yeah,
djinn.
the djinn, yeah. But it's like he gets trapped in an
He's a
emerald.
Will Smith in Aladdin.
Yes, he is trapped in a jewel. First movie,
It's a Shazam.
the jewel gets unleashed.
No,
and then
Kozak.
starts a whole bunch of like,
Oh.
and it's like this whole thing where he like
Thank you.
collects souls every time you make a wish. And I mean, the one thing about this series that kind of hurt the most is the first one's fun. If anyone's ever seen it, you guys know you said you have. But like after that, there's no repetitive characters. There's not one person that comes back or stays in the film. They might recast and use. I'm so distracted right now. They might recast characters, but like the first movie had like I would say Jason's Kane Hodder and Tony Todd and like these some little like for Robert Englund obviously is a big part of the first one, but never comes back again.
For
But
those who are
thing
For
where-
those who are listening, by the way, Jusef is just slathering blue paint on his body.
I blew myself.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like one of those things where it is fun. It does have a lot of like Freddy elements to it in the first one, but like you're supposed to wish these certain like leprechaunish things. Like I wish I was rich, and he puts a pot of gold in your stomach. But it's like, you know, one of the like
A
we're
real,
talking-
what do you call them? Monkey paw, right?
yeah.
Where you ask for one thing
Yeah.
and then you get something else, you know?
but
like
he's not.
the classic.
You wish it. You go like, I want you to do something. He's like, do you wish it? And there's like, yeah, maybe. And he's just like, it happens. And you're just
Got
like,
some big Aladdin energy here.
but it gets looser and looser as time goes. He's like, is that what you want? And they're like, yeah, I guess. And he's just like, all right, you're dead. Your soul's mine. But like, it just kind of falls into that after each movie. The first one's fun. The way they trick him, or like they try to kill him, and every time they try to kill him, they're like, blow your own head off, and he does it. And he's just like, you can't kill an immortal being. But like the first one, the woman just goes, I wish I never met you. And then it just rewinds the entire movie to the
Just
beginning.
undoes it all, yeah.
Yeah.
So TJ, I got a question. Does the Wishmaster have like a name, or is it just Wishmaster?
It's just the djinn. I think the Wishmaster is just like
The name.
the name of the movie, but they just call him the djinn, like an evil spirit or like a
Okay.
trickster spirit almost.
Is it
But like he
the
doesn't
same?
have, yeah, like in the third one, he gets murdered by a magical sword because an ancient one of his foes comes back and takes, because what he does is he like cuts the faces off of people and then wears the face.
Oh,
and then becomes-
okay.
It was like this
Okay,
trickster
alright.
bullshit.
So does he have like does he keep coming back for the sequels for the most part, the same actor?
No, it's the first two is the same guy where he plays himself a lot, where it's just like him as a human. But
Yeah,
he's
and
the same
he's
voice.
this dude with
Okay.
like he's a little bit of a fucked up face.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like a Dane Cook, like Dane Cook now. That's what he
No,
looks like.
I'm looking him up.
And
I just have a few-
he's good when he's like
Yeah.
in. I feel like
He
he's
was
a
in
better
Mac and
actor
Me.
when he's in makeup
Yes.
than when he's not with makeup.
Well, when he's not in makeup, like they have a scene like where I wonder if like *Malignant*, that fucking Netflix hit that came out this year, takes it where he's in a jail cell and they have like the fucking alpha guy walking around like you pussy in a suit, blah 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 blah, and he's like, I'll fucking. he's like, you're a genie? You can grant me a wish? All right, well, I wish that I could walk out of this prison. And all of a sudden, like, he just crams the guy just kind of turns into, like, this little piece of himself and crams through the bars. Like, who kills? But then it kind of, after they do that first kill, like, in all the movies, like, in the very first one, Kane Hodder actually has, like, a pretty popular one that everyone always talks about, where he's, like, a security guard, and he's like, well, if you want to get to here, you got to go through me. So he walks through him like he's glass, and there's whole CGI computer
So
I feel like that's what I most enjoyed about the first one was
Yeah.
all the destruction of established killers from other franchises.
Yeah, and they kill Tony
Yeah.
Todd, they kill Robert Englund, they do the whole thing with Kane Hodder. It's just, but then they lose that after when it gets to like the second one, where it's almost the same thing. I think they don't recast the same girl, but they use the same character name. Like I think it's like Anna Abramson or something like that. But then eventually they just get rid of that bullshit by the third and fourth one. The fourth one, I'm going to be completely honest, don't remember what the fuck happened in that entire goddamn movie. They did the whole thing where like they were like, let's save money on the actual Jin and just make him a monster in the first like 2 minutes, and the rest of the movie he'll be some bleached haired fucking guy they recasted as the guy who plays the actual Wishmaster, which they kind of like just slap. He looked like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers, but green, like in this one, like a real bad.
So, what was Wes Craven's involvement? Because it is advertised as Wes Craven's Wishmaster.
Yeah, he produced.
I know, but like, did you do any like?
Didn't that was this Clive Barker have something to do with this one too?
It's John Kurtzman, I want to say, directed it. Who like did
Robert Kurtzman, executive producer Wes Craven. He just basically put his fucking name on it. That's what happened.
Right, it's just his name to sell the movie, sure.
I'm just wondering.
Because like the first one I think came out like 97, and then the very last one I think was 2001, maybe. It just hit that all in between 2 decades where it just the very first one's fun. It kind of maybe had the Scream Wes Craven name just right off of, but the rest of them were shot like a sci-fi, like not one of those cool sci-fi ones now, like a real bad sci-fi one back then.
Yeah, it says like I just have the Wikipedia up, and it's like says like the first 2 or 3 are considered straight. Oh no, first 2 are considered horror movies, and then the third and fourth are romantic movies or romance.
Well, that's what the whole thing, like, he has a foe who comes back in time that's, he knows all of his tricks, and, like, there's a special sword that he falls in love with a girl, and then the girl stabs the being, and they fall, like, 5 stories of the girl on top of the Jin, and she lands on the ground. She's perfectly fine. He's died. It's, like, at this point, I kind of fell out. I was just, like, sitting there on the couch, like, all right, next year I better get a fucking better franchise than this.
Hey, I have a fun fact for you, though, on this. Its box office weekend's kind of interesting, because it's 3... very like mundane ass movies that actually one's not, but so this came in third at the box office, which is shocking. Behind The Game in second place, David Fincher's.
Nice.
During its second week, and then the movie In and Out with Kevin Kline was
right.
I don't have like numbers or anything.
A movie that I'm sure holds up. Nothing problematic about that, probably.
I'm sure it's completely fine, completely
I recently watched it, and it's very problematic, but it's one of those movies that holds a special place. Where I watched it as a kid, because it was honestly one of those introductions into homosexuality, and I was like, oh, okay, great people are cool.
It's actually the same thing for me.
I have a similar thing with watching that movie as a kid.
So, TJ, how about you give me some cool? Were there any lines that stood out, especially with this type of character that has such
he doesn't line? That's the thing, like they really dropped the ball on like the different things he probably could have done pretty-wise, but his whole thing was like tricking you into saying the same thing you just said. So it's at first you're like, oh, that's clever, and then you're like, he's just repeating exactly what that guy said, and the guy goes, uh-huh, and then if there's a climax kill, then they move on to the next scene. Like, again, the jail scene was pretty cool. The Kane Hodder one's good. Even the one with like Tony Todd.
What happens with the kill though? Like how's
the Kane Hodder one is like he's supposed to get into a certain spot to get like a record or some bullshit out for about the girl that he's chasing after because she has the emerald, and Kane Hodder just says, "Well, you have to get through me," and then he turns him into a glass door, and then just walks through him.
Oh, that's dope.
Awful CGI, but then he like explodes and then the blood and guts and shit like that.
Yeah, you see him like.
Yeah.
This sounds like poor man's, like even poorer man's Leprechaun.
That's what I'm saying. Like they
Yeah,
dropped.
kind of. I agree.
You could have had moments where he had awesome taglines or just anything that wasn't just like, "Do you wish this? Do you want that?" Everyone's like, "Oh yeah." Like, but it's sarcastic. Every time they respond to him, it's always something sarcastic. Like, so you think you can beat me?
Are you not gonna mention the fact that? And I think it was a pretty cool aspect, and maybe it's because I haven't seen it in like almost 2 years, and in my mind it's pretty cool how he used the museum's art to kill people, like the statues, the paintings, the
All that shit's cool, but they give up on that like in the third and the fourth one too, where the girl comes out of the painting and that's the love life and like this weird. It's all about. He always comes back to like some type of like art piece that like the Jinn supposedly had something attached to, which eventually I just fell out of because it wasn't like a Michael Myers Thorn thing where you're just kind of invested. Once they kind of lost you on the emerald, like they always brought back this goddamn emerald. What they barely talked about throughout the movie. It was just always like, well, he was a trickster in the, before Christ and all this other shit. And then this sword can kill him. It's not anything that I would, unless you saw it when it came out in '97 and you were 11. Like the first one's fun to go back to, but don't watch 2, 3, or 4 unless you just want to have it.
You know what? This is probably on par with also, the Species series.
I watched
that
first Species. No, there's 4 of them.
No,
What?
there's 4 Species. The first one's legitimately like a fun ass movie. It's a little too long.
Yeah, the first one I watched a
Second gets a little
lot
crazy.
as a teen because of all the boobs.
Yes.
But it was a fun movie and great design on. They brought Giger out to do the design and whatnot.
Yeah, so maybe not on par, but like the way like the 4 movies and her like 4 movies of this and like.
Yeah,
they're all kind of undescribable after a while. It sounds
right. They all kind of have the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like TJ had the same experience I had last year with Lake Placid. Even though I had 8 movies, not 4, but it's kind of like all of them just you go like.
Yeah, Critters was similar too when we did Critters after. But
really, you watched all those new ones too.
Dude, I watched everyone. I don't, as you see, I don't slack on my franchise watch.
If they did a Wishmaster like today, like a newer one where they had because if you did it today, you'd probably have more money than you had when you made it back in the late '90s, early 2000s. I think you could probably do something clever, like
I'm surprised,
like a Blumhouse type of thing.
Sure, I'm surprised the like a Sci-Fi Channel or someone hasn't just bought the rights out of whoever owns it for cheap and is just kind of doing what they do with the Hellraiser movie, like or
didn't
done
other
in the
movies
past
like
with
use
Hellraiser.
the Jinn though, like the Jinn
Hellraiser
Spirit or whatever it was. What is it?
I think Hellraiser uses Jinn.
No, I don't think they're not Jinn with Hellraiser.
Will Smith.
There is a horror movie called Jinn. I know that. I've just saw it on Netflix a bunch of times. I never watched it though.
I'm listening to a book series about Jinn.
Oh, shut up! Ooh, look at me! I listen to books. Blah blah blah.
I listen to books and I don't pretend it's reading.
At least you don't call it reading. I'll give you that. You didn't call it reading.
That's another dig to certain people that's talking shit.
Let's move on.
All right, TJ, before we move on, I just want you to give us your ranking of the films. I know they are painful, but please.
It's not even that it was painful. Like, painful is like...
I feel like it would have been painful if TJ would have put it in any... I don't think he put in any effort, though. I think he breezed through these. It was like, He didn't get into the nitty-gritty of the... He didn't... Like, I was hoping... I wanted to come back with, like, books of lore. He's like, all right, so here's the history of the Hellraiser.
Here's the history of the Jinn.
Yeah, no.
He's the Wishmaster. That's right. Sorry.
The first one's up there with like for me on like if I did like a Critters, I did a Puppet Master rewatch a couple of days ago too. Like the second one, it's up there with like those type of things. Like once you get into 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 4 especially, they just dropped the budget and really kind of gave up on the actual like monster and did a whole like love story thing. But 2 has its moments. Again, the jail scene's pretty good, and the guy playing the Jinn or the Wishmaster creature is probably the highlight of all the films. But there's nobody you recognize in any of these movies other than the first ones, like Tony Todd, Robert Englund, Kane Hodder. That's it. Other than that, there's no one else you really recognize. I think the second one, the dad is or not the dad, it was like a sheriff is he looks like Jeffrey Jones, but I've seen him in a couple different films, especially
Ooh,
horror.
gross.
Like that.
Okay, I mean, Wishmaster, I swear I've always at least put it on, like the first one, like late at night, and I've only ever like made it between like the first like 15 minutes of the movie and before I fall asleep, because I'm like, oh, this would be a good late night movie. Never finished it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said,
on
I think
Amazon,
I might have
though.
had the first one on DVD at one point, and it's one of those things where I was just like, I don't.
Guys,
This means nothing to me.
So you would have
whoever's
left it at
listening-
only one then. You would have eliminated
just-
the sequels.
Just at one,
Guys.
and then if you had any background, if anyone was going to come back, like maybe do it again. But it just kind of falls into the sequel hole of just being like, maybe they already signed up for 4 films and they had to do 4 using the fucking name. But like, I don't know who kept pouring money into this fucking thing.
Well, guys, I bet you though, if you ran out to like your local like ShopRite or like corner store right now, there is a double feature pack of Witchmaster 1 and 2
Oh,
sitting there
sure.
right
Oh,
now
yeah.
for $5 in that bin.
You probably get all 4 for $5 in a bin.
It's definitely like a C tier horror villain like guy. He got 4 movies, He's on that level.
But
Alright.
even
There's
not,
some
because
niche fans out there that Wishmaster's their favorite shit.
Oh, there's
There's always
always
some
somebody.
weirdo.
Do you want to move on to you, or you want to keep talking?
No, let's get on to the better franchises.
Well, I wouldn't claim mine's better friend. Mine's better
I was
friend.
like, hold on, we're moving on to Phantasm now.
Yeah, but okay. So Phantasm, honestly, it was a wild ride. Was not. I don't know why. I thought it was just like your typical slasher, just by the
That's weird
stills and all that. The conversations around that. It never
Good
mentioned
VHS covers.
It's so.
Oh yeah.
It's very
like
heady.
it's aliens or something, isn't it?
It's very heady. It's very.
It's an acid trip.
It's an acid trip. Yeah, it's very ethereal, very dreamlike. There's a lot of moments where you are like, is it real? Is it a dream? Is it a vision? Is it so? All these movies, all of them were written by Don Coscarelli. I'm just gonna call you Koski. Because I'm not gonna keep saying that name.
Guy, he made Bubba Hotep, also a very fun.
Yeah, he made Beastmaster and John Dies in the End.
Oh, I like.
I love Beastmaster.
Hey, little side note: the guy who wrote John Dies at the End, he used to work at Cracked. I happened to follow him. He wrote that wrote that book under his pen name David Wong, and is very quietly. He's a white guy who like just picked an Asian pseudonym when he started being an author because he thought it sounded interesting and would sell more books, and it probably worked. But he very quietly has gone back to using his regular name, Jason Pargin, and has like had reissues of his books come out with his regular name on it. So like, I don't know, every time I see somebody getting smoked for like some appropriation shit, I'm always like, oh, you skated, man.
So
I didn't have anywhere else to talk
just-
about that. I just would, as soon as you said John Dies at the End, I was like, oh shit,
Brian,
I've been meaning to talk about this for some reason.
It just had to be a little more successul, and it would have happened.
Right,
he had
right.
to have like a fuck up, and then somebody would have brought it
Right,
up.
he got
Hey,
ahead
he's
of it.
always
Now
been a
he's-
fuck
now
up.
he's- he got ahead of it though. So
Yeah. So Don
Don Cosby.
Cossi, he wrote and directed the first 4, and he co-wrote, produced the last one.
There's 5 total. I thought
yeah,
there were
there's
only
5.
4.
And
There was only 4 for a while.
yeah, 2016. I'll get to it. This is my show.
Yeah, Jesus shit.
Bitch. Yeah, it's a podcast. We're supposed to talk.
No, you're not.
Where'd you learn
Um,
that from?
Yeah, yeah. So all of the
My comedic
the
chop.
main characters, all of them come back. The main 3 good guys and the bad guy played by Angus Scrimm, aka the Tall Man. All of them appear on all 5, with
Who was
exception
also
of,
in Wishmaster.
with
by
exception
the
of the second one. The main dude is replaced because he was I'll get to it because this is one of the most interesting honestly, it was very interesting how they made all these movies. Because the first one was a weekend job. Like it was funded by friends of his
It feels
parents,
like it.
lawyers, everybody just put in money, and he would just shoot for 18 to 20 hours Friday through Sunday, and everybody would just go on to their day jobs. It took him like a year to film the entire thing, and he didn't have money for a cameraman or an editor or a cinematographer or anything. He did everything himself. So when he edited the movie and he screened it, the first one, it was 3.5 hours. And surprisingly, everybody hated the movie because it was like, fuck, dude, it's 3.5 hours of dreamlike sequences. And he edited it down. So what ended up happening, he was able to sprinkle in footage that he had from the first one through all of the movies. So
Oh,
he packed in a lot of footage throughout the entire franchise of sequences that in a shittier or a less creative franchise would have been just repeats of what you already saw from the first one, were completely new sequences and completely new
He
angles
like
to
held them back. Like,
so
Yeah.
are they shown in like flashbacks? So it like
Yeah,
looks
they're
consistent?
shown in flashbacks and he was able to be very creative with, because the towards the latter half there's a lot of quasi interdimensional time travel, and there are moments in where dialogue from the new movie is played over the old footage, and the actors are reacting probably to something completely different, but it makes it seem as if they're hearing their future selves talk, and they're
Oh,
like, what the hell's happening? And it feels like almost like everything was completely planned, but it was just like him improvising throughout the years.
and does that have to do? Does that still hold true for like the one that came out in like 2016?
So that one is even more compelling as to what happened. But the first one took, let's just do it in order. The
Oh,
first one took,
I'm so sorry, sir.
no,
I'm
no,
so
no, no,
sorry.
you're good. Like, yes, it holds true for all of them.
Okay.
All of them were very labor of love, and were very hard to actually complete. The first one, like I said, it was on the weekends. It was him. Like, this is just a bubble tape, and what was what's the first saying? Somebody help me with this saying.
The the tall man.
No, the bubble gum and
Oh,
tape.
I
bubble gum
came
and
here
duct
to.
tape held
Okay.
held together with bubble gum and
Very
duct tape.
very low budget shooting. Everybody was just friends, so that's why all these actors stayed with him.
Hmm.
We have Reggie, who is a musician. He plays an ice cream man, and he eventually becomes like this action hero in the franchise, which is fucking hilarious because he's just this bald dude with a ponytail that is a former ice cream man. But the first one essentially is just it's this two brothers, a little kid, and this cool older brother that is gonna go away to college. And the little kid is just obsessed with being not obsessed, just like depressed with being alone. Um, there is an accident, and then we meet the tall man, which is this funeral home director. So he's just a very looming threat over the town, and nobody knows where he came from or what he's doing. And the kid just starts following him around, and he noticed that he is super strong. Bodies are disappearing. He's robbing graves. Nobody knows what he's doing with the bodies. And then we know that the tall man has a psychic connection with the kid, essentially. So the tall man becomes obsessed with the kid because he wants to use him as a minion, essentially. And then there's this ball that he uses, which is like the icon of is the tall man and the ball, the sphere silver thing that you
It's
see
got
in
like
every
a spike.
poster.
It's got a bunch of different.
Yeah,
it's got a
and he
bunch of
like
different
sends
things, right,
it.
through the movies, right?
So he kind of
It's
like in the first one, you kind
it's
of
very Green Goblin.
yeah. He in the first one, you feel like he's using it with his mind.
Did you say Green Goblin?
Then the 2, 3, 4, 5, you get more lore, more explanation. You later learn that they're actually brains inside of the spheres. He
Oh,
creates spheres with the brains of the people that he abducts, and they're
that's
essentially their minions. So the ending of the first one, and I'm gonna give my best line, worst line, and the best kill. But the ending of the first one is very vague, very did it happen? With essentially Reggie telling the little boy that everything that he saw was a dream. Like that didn't happen. Your brother died in a car accident. I don't know what you're talking about. The tall man, blah blah blah. And in the end, the boy is in his room, and the tall man appears, and goblins. He has little people dressed as goblins,
When
and
you
those
say
are his
little
like
people, you mean
smaller in height per people.
Gotcha.
Little persons.
Gotcha.
Dwarves,
Human
perhaps?
beings underneath the 5 feet barrier.
Chucky
The
dolls.
dead dwarf gag.
I'm not using words that are gonna get me canceled, Joe. Human
That's
beings.
a
No, no.
quote. That's a
Dwarf
quote
is
from
appropriate.
Halloween
You're allowed to
3.
say dwarf.
I
That's
don't
like
know
the
which
term.
one is appropriate anymore.
That's
Okay,
a
You can
quote from
say
Halloween
dwarf.
3.
Just
That
don't
are
say the
small.
M word. M word is
Troll.
bad.
Yeah, you cannot say the M word.
I
Mom.
don't think you can use dwarf because dwarf is a specific subsect of that. So I'm not gonna assume what
Listen,
actors
No,
were.
I
Listen, my
think I
man.
think a lot of little people have some. There are different forms of dwarfism.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of them are
People
dwarves.
don't like to
Still.
identify and just like they are just human beings underneath a certain height. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I was quoting Halloween 3,
No,
and that's all I was doing.
you're good. I'm fucking with you.
Great movie.
So the worst line of this first movie, 1979, it's delivered by the worst actress in the entire franchise, which is something to say because this franchise has some shit acting. It has great concept, but horrible acting across.
Everyone in the first movie is literally Bruce Campbell.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's a perfect segue to Reggie, which is the one that I mentioned is the ice cream man. He essentially becomes the Bruce Campbell of this franchise. Like you can do a very clear line in between Phantasm 1 and Evil Dead 1 and how that franchise, both of those franchises evolved. Like the first one is more or less this demonic presence, this alien presence, this blah 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 presence that's taking
yeah.
over, and everybody's just reacting. And the sequels are like almost like action comedy,
Gotcha.
gore. So it's kind of like it's a great example. And the reason why I said like the 2016 one is very interesting is because Bruce Campbell they were trying to get Bruce Campbell for the last movie to be a
Oh,
co-star.
well. I like they make like these movies love to have like all these lower ones like
Cameo.
to have cameos of who's who. I mean, literally reading TJ for Wishmaster briefly the wiki while when TJ was talking about like the guy who Angus from Phantasm is the narrator. Like
Yeah.
it's like
No,
they
yeah,
all
he
love to
and I
intersect.
feel like Angus and probably we can say that he influenced a lot, like
Great
people like
movie.
the Slender Man or
Oh
a lot of
yeah, Tall Man.
the tall man, and his face is like almost like a Bela Lugosi type old school horror
Yeah.
actors. Like he's very iconic in terms of like his presence. The worst line is delivered by the kid goes to fortune teller, and there's this little blonde girl who's kind of like the speaking for the grandmother because the grandmother just like whispers and she interprets it for her. And it's like if I am able to cut this clip, I won't. I'm too busy. I don't do this shit. But she goes blank face and stares at him and says, "It's simple. Reflection fear is the real killer." That was the
Oh,
line. I was like, I had to like rewind thrice to understand what the fuck she said. Um, the best line is Reggie when he runs in front of the tall man, and he just accepts his fate and just says, "Well, shit." That's like the best one. And the best death is the classic ball to the face, drilling a hole in the skull, and just blood shoots out of the
I think
hole.
that's the only one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I've never
So
seen
jump.
Phantasm.
I
Um,
watched the first one last year.
the movie. Did you like it?
No, I remember wanting to like it, but I just more felt like it's funky. Like I remember
Yeah,
walking away, it's like super
I feel like
disco.
it's an acquired taste.
I
I
did
feel
not
like
like.
if you
I think
jump,
I could say I did not like it.
yeah, if you jump on 2 and 3, I don't think you even have to watch the first one, you'll enjoy them a lot.
Okay,
Like,
I
they're
will
dumb fun.
definitely
They're very
go
campy.
watch 2 and 3.
You never
because
heard that before. It's like just don't watch the first one. Watch the last.
I mean, you can. You should
Yeah.
watch the first one, but understand that if you don't like the vibe and your vibe is more campy, gore, dumb fun, go to the second and third.
Yeah.
With the first
So
one, I was just waiting for more of like a kill, I remember, and like a slasher, like more of that from it. So I was,
Yeah.
The first one's
I
the
was-
only one I've seen too, and it never grabbed me, so I never went
Yeah.
back to the sequels. I knew it was like a series that people liked, or that it had that kind of like not
Shudder.
top tier, but like second tier icon in the tall man and the ball and everything.
And
Shudder made
it-
Shudder made a big deal about having like the streaming rights to it last year.
Oh, okay,
they're on
alright.
Peacock.
think
Shout
people-
out to Peacock. I was able to see them all on Peacock.
Oh,
And
yeah,
also
Peacock. Peacock rules.
Oh yeah, Peacock.
shout out
Thanks,
shout
Joe, for
out
Peacock.
to shout out to Suspiria and Dario Argento, because 100% this movie is super influenced by that.
Yo,
movie.
can I tell you a memory I have though of Phantasm?
So
I just remember being a little kid and like being with my cousin's house and I was gonna, all right, bro. And being one of the few like VHSs they had and being like, let's watch this, and then someone be like, no, you can't watch that. That's the scariest movie ever made. So then forever, I just thought that guy, because it was him holding the ball. I was like, well, that's the scariest movie ever made. I can't not. That's too much for me.
I remember hearing that kind of about like the Hellraiser movies. Like one of my uncles like couldn't get through it or something. It was like the
Yeah.
thing you heard about when I was
Pussy.
little.
Yeah.
I'm talking about being like
Yeah, he was a
really
big
young.
pussy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
before I move on to the second, fun fact: whenever you see that ball that you just mentioned, no, 100%, you're gonna see the reflection of the cameraman or a crew guy or somebody in the background. 100%.
They
I
just
was
don't
watching
worry
Prom
about it.
Night 4 the other day with Sarah, and it's bad. But like, there was legitimately the boom guy in a mirror. Like, it panned, the girl walked across the room, and there was like her mirror, and you could just see the boom guy just standing. It was awesome. I had to rewind it back. It was so good.
So this was a box
No one
office.
will know.
Okay, this movie made money because it was made for nothing and it made a
Right.
few millions. So everybody wanted a sequel. Yeah, but Donnie
22.
Donnie didn't have an idea. He was like, doesn't deserve a sequel. I wanted it to be very vague. I wanted it to keep audience thinking what the fuck happened. But Universal came along and offered a shit ton of money. And 10 years later, almost 1988, Phantasm 2 comes out, but with one condition: Mike, the original kid, cannot come back, and he's replaced by this actor. That the only point of reference that I have for him, he is like the pervert that Phoebe goes out with in Friends once. Like, he has fucked up
Oh,
and long hair. He's a
I know what you're
stalker
talking about.
of her. So that's
Just
the
remember
only
the guy with the balls. That's it.
Yo, can I just tell you before you begin on 2? This has one of the funniest taglines ever
Say it.
I've seen
Say
in a
it.
movie. I'm just on its Wikipedia clicking through. This summer, the ball is back.
Yeah, the ball's about to drop, baby. All right, so the second one
I gotta
is
take-
back.
Guys, I gotta
one is
take this
10
off.
years
It's really
later.
drink my beer.
Second one's 10 years later. Mike is in a psychiatric hospital because he is the only
Now
one
you're
that
Tommy Jarvis.
he's the only one that remembers that the tall man exists and he's a killer. Blah blah blah. Reggie doesn't even believe him. He's the ice cream man. But the cool thing about this movie is that what I just mentioned in the beginning, that they used old footage that was never used for the franchise. So it opens. Wait, you're not the mother anymore?
Yeah, you're just giving up.
It's
You know
really
how
gave
hard.
up
like
on
this is on me, Joe? Do you want to see my belly button, you son
It's
of a
really
bitch?
hard to drink my beer in that mask.
All
I
right, you
said
better
at least
dress up
pretend
for
you're
your
Tommy
section.
Jarvis now.
No, I got my Candyman shirt on.
For your section, you have to dress up again.
I will put it back on. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you used to cover
really
in
wanna-
fucking toilet paint.
Yeah, look at me. I fucking fell in the
Guys.
the potty.
Guys,
the potty.
I'm getting
Like
my
fucking Chevy
it's-
Chase and
the
fucking
plastic's
Vacation.
going. The plastic. I'm basically gonna realize it's in my nostrils, so it's all irritated. And every time I drink, it's just wet and like.
All right,
I
it's
just
my
fucking-
my time, bro, Joe.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
God damn it. Second one. Mike is replaced, but we get to see all this old footage for the first one that wasn't used. There's a lot of lore woven into here. Now Mike, for some fucking reason, is a full telepath, and he's communicating. This is Doctor Sleep, okay? Doctor Sleep ripped Phantasm 2 from this movie. Okay?
Stephen King was just like, here's some shit nobody's seen before.
Yeah, nobody's
I'll
seen
just rip
Phantasm
this.
2.
Nobody cares about this.
So Mike is
I
communicating
believe it.
telepathically with a woman. The woman is being stalked by the tall man. Mike wants to come and save her. Essentially, that's kind of like the gist. We get one of the coolest weapons I've ever seen in movies. Reggie unites two double-barrel shotguns to combine. And it's essentially like four
A
double
quad
so it's
barrel
four
shotgun? That sounds pretty dope.
So it's four shotguns in one, and he's just holding it like that. He's killing a lot of human beings, tiny human beings. One of the best kills. One of the best
Are
kills.
these actual small person actors, or
Yeah.
what's the... Okay. I didn't know
The
if maybe we
best
were doing,
kill,
like,
there's
special effects or what.
honestly, this is this. I wrote. Joe, you're in the wiki. Go to Phantasm 2 wiki and look who did the practical effects. I have it in my notes, but I want to
Okay.
be reading. They're awesome. The practical effects
Production.
are amazing.
Keep
So
kudos,
unfortunately,
bro.
the deaths are very cool. But my favorite death is Reggie has that special shotgun. A tree is full of those minions, and he just points up, shoots, and just small persons start falling from the tree
That's
one
so
by
awesome.
one. It's just
K.
fucking
It's
hilarious.
a,
Just
it says
raining little people.
KNBAFX were recruited for special effects.
So as Greg Nicotero and Robert Kurtzman were part
Oh,
of
okay.
this
I thought you
this
mentioned that. Sorry.
this movie, they went on to do huge things, and if you see the practical effects, they're amazing. They have a bunch of deaths that are so fucking cool. One sequence, a ball goes through the lower back of one of the bad guys, and it drills its way up through the chest, up through the throat, and gets stuck in his mouth. And you see the
Oh, yeah.
trajectory going, and it's very well done, very well done. But yeah, it's essentially like this horror action comedy. Mike is the worst. And I'm sorry to the fans out there. Even when Mike, the original actor, comes back, I think he's even worse than this actor. Like the dude clearly didn't know how to act. Universal were in the right to not want him back. But if you hear the commentary for Phantasm 3 when Mike comes back, he is very bitter and very angry that he wasn't allowed to come back for 2. So there's no love lost there.
I love on special. That's one of my favorite things in special features on DVDs and shit, where like the real shit slips through. Because almost every special feature is like, oh, it was
Yeah.
all so fun. We were a family on set. Blah blah blah. But like once in a while, some people just spill the straight up nasty tea and just go for it. I love
Dude,
that.
The best, the bit is strong. One of the best special features is Talladega Nights. Will Ferrell and Adam McKay pretend to just be doing it from like a helicopter the whole time and don't take it seriously at all. It's hysterical.
Any Will Ferrell, Adam McKay movie commentary is always a bit. They never do a serious.
Yeah,
commentary.
okay. I didn't know. I
Always,
didn't realize it was a thing.
they're
All right,
always.
so
They always do it.
Here we learn that the tall man is actually from another dimension, and he is essentially grabbing these bodies, bringing them back to life, crunching them down into minion size, and enslaving them in his dimension. Essentially, that's kind of like the gist. But we later learn that is kind of more complicated. Is super vague, so it's not worth it to like fully like wrap your brain about it. It's just like this is happening essentially. They have a fantastic death because in the first one, I think it's just an explosion. That's how they killed the tall man. And this one, they have a very badass death sequence because he is essentially like using a special serum that he injects the bodies. And Reggie dumps a bunch of acid into that serum, and they inject him, and he starts to melt, and another explosion happens. All right. So the third one, now this is where shit gets crazy. Third one, we have a Home Alone sequence because the tall man is jumping from town to town. Oh, the second one ends in the exact same thing as the first one. You think you escape, and suddenly Tall Man appears, and they grab them out of the window. All of them end like this. It's fantastic. It's stupid. It's dumb. I love it. Um, the third one is 1994. Reggie is trying to find Mike because the tall man took him away. And he's going through town to town because essentially tall man is just destroying towns. And he stumbled upon a town that is completely abandoned. And he walks to a house. He's jumped by three criminals. They try to rob the house, but the house is being protected by a small kid. And this small kid shoots them, decapitates them, and uses a frisbee with razor blades attached to it to cut his throat. So he just murders everybody. They say he's a fucking badass. And they also add this cool looking African American woman with nunchucks. So we have Reggie with a 4 double shotgun, Home Alone murdering kid, and this badass woman with nunchucks killing people and trying to stop the tall man. What else?
Did it get too actiony? Did it become
in certain
malignant?
parts, yes, but they use a lot of zombies. Those criminals come back to life, and they're zombies, and they're trying to kill the main actors. The balls in this one, the balls are super good because they get more creative.
We really love the balls.
They have more weapons and they're more aggressive in this one. Like they seem almost unstoppable. Yeah, it's very good. You get more of the interdimensional playing. Reggie in the first one, Reggie controls. It's kind of those poles that appear, and if you cross them, you go into the dimension. But if you somehow control them, you can stop the portals. So you get more play of that. It's fine. Very good, very campy, very dumb. Like you can't even take it that seriously. You can't complain. I forgot to tell. Let me see.
So I have a question.
I don't think you was like a best kill or a best or worst line on the last one either.
But I have a question.
Well, go ahead.
You're saying that they are dumb and campy, so they don't take themselves too they don't take themselves seriously.
These two are more tongue in cheek. They still are very dedicated to expanding the lore of the first one because they keep dropping old footage and they keep expanding. But the kills and the one-liners is more, hey, let's have fun.
Okay.
Than the first one. The first one is clearly I wanna brain fuck the audience. Kind of like he really was trying to be. I'm so mysterious. What is happening in this movie? So it can be very off-putting. It can be like it keeps you at an arm's length. The best. Oh, sorry, no. The best that the quadruple the minions falling from the tree is from the third one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the second one I wrote.
Raining down, just some little people.
Yeah, the second one is the one that I mentioned. The ball going up through the back, through the throat, and getting stuck in his mouth. That's the best.
Okay, that's gotcha. You did mention that. You're right.
Oh, the worst line in the third one. I'm too old for this shit. Rip off. It's like, come on, fuck you.
That's stupid.
The best line is, in a dream sequence, he's having sex with the nunchuck lady, and the brother from the first one returns as a ball in this one, but he takes human form. He's a ball, and because in this one you learn that the balls actually have brains in them, and they can be either inserted into people and they can control the body, or they can project a human form, which is what the brother does. And he is he's having sex from behind with the nunchuck lady, and the brother is trying to interrupt the dream sequence. He's like, "Hey, Reggie, we have to talk. Like, shit is going down. Can you stop having sex?" Like, and Reggie's like, "Dude, I'm in a minute, and the dude says, "Reggie, I really need you to get behind me," and that's a great line because he's having sex from behind with the lady. That's a funny line. Sorry. So the fourth one took a shit ton of time to make. The reason why this one is so interesting is because of what I was mentioning to Joe. They really wanted to do a Bruce Campbell movie.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell was going to team up with Reggie, but they couldn't get the rights to it. And Don said essentially, "Hey, I'll do this movie for $5 essentially, because I have all this footage from the older movie. So I just have to shoot maybe 15 to 20 minutes. We'll put in all this old footage, and we have a quasi runtime here. This one is more in line with the first one. It still has some cool kills and some cool moments, but it's more dreamlike. It really goes ham with, is this real? Is this really happening? Where are we? What is like? And we meet the original Tall Man, who was a human from the 19th century that invented time travel, went to this dimension and was possessed by the entity that became the Tall Man, essentially. That's kind of like what I inferred.
That's some pretty deep lore.
Yeah, again, he takes it very seriously. The quality of the movies are not there, and the acting outside of Reggie is a rock. But the rest, yeah, I don't.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to talk about. Oh, the I forgot to mention the fourth one has ball boobs. So this is a running gag with Reggie. Like every woman either finds him super attractive or doesn't want to have sex with him, but he's always trying to get it in. Like that's kind of like the running gag.
Like no matter
And
what, he's trying to fuck.
he's like the end of the world is happening. He's like, hey,
Kind of
you know, how about we? So he picks up this hitchhiker, and she's like, we're not gonna have sex, but we can sleep in the same bed, essentially. And they're sleeping, and he hears a noise, and he turns, and he's kind of following the sound, and he opens up her shirt, and there are two balls of fierce. They pop out of the chest.
Like the balls, the titular balls from the movie.
And he had to kill the balls.
Wait, does that happen with normal women?
Yeah.
Really?
TJ, someday you'll find out.
it should.
If you touch the right buttons.
Yeah, they two spheres come out. They knock you out for like, I don't know, 3 hours. You wake up, and you're like, that seemed nice, and you forget about the spheres until next time.
But yeah, I have a note here that says, like, at times the fourth one felt like a Breen movie, a Neil Breen movie. There's a lot of desert scenes. It felt like Double Down.
And you know what? The thing about the desert is it's cheap to shoot there.
Yeah. And then finally the last one is very interesting because the way that the fourth one ends is they stop him again, but he almost kills Mike, and he just like.
Oh no, I was just gonna say about like the one.
I'm not gonna let you talk when you're talking Friday.
That's fine. The ones in I feel like a lot of these movies that got like straight to video sequels in the 90s are always like pretty fucking, like they're pretty just less than.
Well, the thing about the fourth one ends with Reggie just walking into the dimension right after the Tall Man. So what I was reading is that they had planned to do a web series of just Reggie killing people in dimensions and trying to find the Tall Man. That fell to shit. But they had all this footage again. And you know, Donnie is like, I'm the king of footage.
I'm not wasting nothing.
I'm not wasting this fucking footage. So this was shot, I think, in 2004, 2006. And you notice the age gaps. But he's a smart fucking man. And what he did is the new footage that he shot, and this is the last movie of Angus as well. Like you can see the last scene that he ever shot. He died 2 months after the movie was released. R.I.P. He was 89 and delivered a great line just in bed.
Good for him.
Yeah, he was good. He's very solid in all these movies. He's just like this one note type character, but he's like he has this acting thing that he just goes like. And it's just amazing. He's like, oh, wow, okay, this is evil. Yeah, okay. What they did is, like, they have all this footage of Reggie, a younger version of Reggie, because it was shot in 2004, just walking around dressed as fucking Ice Cream Man, trying to kill people. And suddenly, his mind is just jumping back and forth constantly between him in a old man asylum being treated as a crazy person and this Reggie badass walking in the desert trying to kill people. But it works because even though it probably took him 10 years to shoot the new film, um, it works aesthetically because you can see, oh, wait, maybe Reggie is fucked up and old and he's just imagining him being a badass trying to kill the tall man that escaped and trying to find Mike. The movie sucks. Like,
That's
I'm
really
sorry.
disappointing.
It's
That's
a cool
disappointing.
concept.
Could
It's
you
a
do
cool concept.
Phantasm now?
What?
Like, if you did Phantasm now, like, how
Like a
you doing
remake?
it? Casting Christopher Lee.
Christopher's dead.
I mean, he's real
That's the
dead.
point.
Yeah,
That was
sorry,
the
buddy.
point.
Kind of hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd cast Christopher Walken.
Ooh.
Christopher Walken is a good.
Yeah, but then you have the This is the prophecy. Like that's
No, you force him to not talk like that. No cadence.
Yeah, I would cast Morgan Freeman.
David.
Oof, Keith David.
Keith David. Yeah, that's a good one. Actually.
He's got the voice for
Even
sure. You can always count on
Tony
that.
Todd. You just need somebody that stares and can deliver a good one line.
And
You
I
know?
want them to be old.
Yeah, I want them to be legitimately old. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool concept. At times it felt like a student
Williams.
film. It felt like a fan film. A lot of shitty CGI. And this one I feel like maybe this is me reading between the lines, but I feel like people complain that the bad guys always use human beings that are small. Because in this one, there's a human being that is small who is a badass and is on his team. And he's just
Nice.
delivering one-liners, killing people, destroying
Deplane,
shit.
boss, deplane.
Yeah, and he's always like calling
Is he a
Reggie.
recognizable little person? Somebody you've seen in other things?
I couldn't recognize him. Maybe you could if you want to do IMDb.
I'm on it.
He's always calling.
Warwick Davis.
He called the tall man tiny.
No, if it was him.
He called Reggie Baldy, old man. So he was always just insulting people. It was pretty cool. They did bring back everybody for the last one, except the kid. They did bring back the lady with the nunchucks.
Says Mike's back.
Yeah, Mike and everybody's back. Mike is a horrible actor in this one. Reggie, rock solid. And there's no cool kills, honestly. Oh, yeah, they killed a horse. That was great. You know, I don't love horses. They used a ball to kill a horse. That was pretty creative. It was pretty funny. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like it really surprised me, honestly. This franchise surprised me. Don't watch them like I did. One.
I'm not saying it was worth your time, but
No. Don't watch them like I did at 10 o'clock tipsy. These movies require you to be awake, to pay attention, and to not fall asleep because the fourth one I did it in 3 tries. But it's a fun watch. I really do recommend watching the second and the third. It's just dumb, schlocky, campy. Don't expect anything. It's just dumb fun. With cool lore.
I didn't realize when you were saying Reggie that's the person's name and the character. That's the actor and the character.
Yeah,
they have the same name, just Reggie.
Yeah, and both of them play guitar.
That shows signs of a bad
managed to
actor.
get a guitar. They managed to get a guitar sequence in every single movie. He just has to
I don't
play.
think I can watch this.
Maybe if I do ever watch Ravager, I'll watch The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs did it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Special.
So
maybe I'll do that.
I would rank them second, third, first, fourth, and fifth. In terms of eliminating, it's kind of hard to say that the fifth should be eliminated, even though I really wish I didn't see that one because it was such a labor of love. Like the fans really rallied behind it. It received, like the fans love it. So it's kind of like, who am I to say like it should be eliminated? I'm not a fan.
It was Rise of Skywalker, a movie that pleased all the fans.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll say this: it's
honestly, I had fun. The first one was kind of rough, but maybe if I rewatched it now, knowing all the lore that I know, I will see all the hints that he was trying to drop, and I would appreciate it more. I probably won't watch it again. Oh, I forgot to mention the first one. they kind of imply he's a shapeshifter and he's fucking people as a woman. That never happens again in the rest of the franchise, but she does. The actress that does play the maybe tall man fucking a guy comes back for the fifth as a cameo.
Oh.
That was cool. But yeah, that's it. That's it. Phantasm. It's fine.
It's really cool that this series lasted as long as it did and held a fan base that long, because like
Yeah.
it really
It's
sounds like
nice for like little niche fans to have their thing. You know, I don't begrudge anybody their thing.
No, and honestly, it's not like I had a lot of fun compared to like my Lake Placid experience. Like I enjoyed watching
Lake Placid was a real chore.
that sounds like it.
Jusef deserves.
We were all surprised when you picked Lake Placid, and we were like, "That's a franchise."
It was. It is.
Certainly was.
Child's Play.
Stand by that first movie, though. Stand by that first.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun.
Amazing.
Betty Davis.
Ah, it's time. Child's Play. Guys, I really just wanted to dress up as a wrestler. I know nobody knows. It's my dream to cut a promo, to call myself 270 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. I want to do that. I want to live that.
You did cut a good promo for our Rock episode. If you haven't seen that, go back. He cuts a good promo.
I mean, you're a trivia champion. You put on your sunglasses, you cut promos.
I do all those things. Guys, I lucked out. I got Child's Play this year. I feel like not only is it one of my favorites, it's a Flyover favorite. Everybody, all the boys, we all love Child's Play. We all know the Child's Play franchise pretty well. So whereas TJ and Jusef had to kind of slog through, I'll expect to be a little more interactive with you guys in this one. But
thank you.
Real quick,
I have this memory when I was a kid. I remember watching. I'm kidding. I'm fucking you. Go ahead.
Fuck you. I like to add some insight to your podcast.
It's funny because I thought he was about
going. And the plot was this, and the ball went in his face.
Damn. All right, guys, ladies, please. It's funny because I thought Jusef was about to drop a little anecdote that would match the one I am about to drop, which is I remember on Flyover State of Fear, talking about early horror experiences and what got us into horror. And I remember what I said there, and I know for some reason, I don't know why I'd like my true horror history, like the first horror movie I even remember anybody talking to me about was when I was like 6 or 7 and my older cousin was 8 or 9 and he had seen the first Child's Play and he was telling me about it and everything. And then like Child's Play were some of the first horror movies I ever saw and they gave me nightmares to the point where by the time the third one was coming out, if you know anything about the Child's Play franchise, much like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, when they got popular, they started pumping out a movie every year. The first 3 Child's Plays are like 88, 90, 91. Like they boom, boom, boom. They come out, By the time the third one was getting previews on TV, I had already had enough nightmares to be like, oh, I guess I'm not seeing that. And then, of course, as soon as it came to VHS, my dad rented it and we watched it. But because, whatever. I used to say goodnight and tell all my stuffed animals that I had in my bed that I love them, so none of them would come to life and kill me. Like literally every single night, I'd be like, "All right, good night, guys. I love you all equally, so don't get jealous and don't come to life and murder."
Didn't you have this similar?
Well, see, what I would do is to counter Brian is I would pick them all up, stare into their eyes, and say, "Talk to me right now." Then I'd bite them on the face as hard as I could to see if they'd come and react to it.
You were challenging them.
I was like, I swear to God, if you don't say anything right now,
did every
kid have this experience? All right, he's cool, and I move on to the next.
Did every kid have this experience when encountering the first Child's Play or the lure of Chucky?
Brian was saying, like with my dad, like the very first scene I remember, I walked in on him watching the mom flip the doll over and realized, or she shook the box.
We haven't even gotten into the first movie, but like. Flyover is well documented on how effective that reveal is and how great that moment is. It's incredible.
It's the intro to Fear.
Yeah.
You dumb bitch!
It's the intro to Fear. All right, so let's get started. It's 1988. Child's Play's coming out.
That's when I was born. I was born in
you got Catherine.
O'Hare.
I'm sorry, Catherine Hicks. I want to make sure I got it right. You got Chris Sarandon, Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride.
Yep.
Obviously Brad Dourif, who I really feel like you get a feel for Charles Lee Ray even in those first few moments before he gets murdered. You get a real vibe from him. Like fucking Brad Dourif is just so good. He's like one of our all-time great character actors. We don't really deserve him. He's fucking incredible.
I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie. I was waiting for someone to come in.
But anyway, so the movie starts. Chris Sarandon is a detective. He chases Charles Lee Ray, the serial killer, into a toy store, kills him. We don't know this, but Charles Lee Ray is a voodoo master. Somehow he's the Lakeshore Strangler, but he does ritual voodoo killings that also involve strangulations, I guess. I don't know. It's a little unclear. It's fine. It's not the biggest thing. Oh, I forgot to mention, obviously, Don Mancini wrote and created character of Chucky, wrote all these movies, but definitely wrote the first one, and which has allowed him to hold on to the rights of the character and go on and make his own series, even when shallow, worthless turds of a studio remake it without his consent.
We don't talk about that, right? Just
did you watch it though for this?
I'm still not 100% clear on how that happened.
Well, they own the rights to the brand Child's Play, and Don Mancini owns the rights to the character of Chucky. That's why Child's Play movies since 3, they've all been Chucky movies. They've never been called Child's Play again. So, but anyway,
and also the fact that like they changed the whole background of Charles Lee Ray in that first one, just being a worker who's just kind of fed up with the circumstances, and
we're not talking about the remake. I said my thing where I shat on it. We're not talking about TJ. Stop it. Don't tell me the plot of it. I don't want to hear that shit. So we cut to Andy, one of my all-time favorite, Alex Vincent as Andy Barkley, one of my all-time favorite child performances. Yep. Really great, really natural. Intro. Truly, my heart breaks for Andy at certain points in this movie.
And also top 10 like outfits. Like his drip is amazing. I love every single thing that he has.
He's got his PJs. I love his little snowsuit when he goes to Eddie Caputo's house.
I gotta make a pee.
I gotta make a tinkle. I gotta make a stay here, Chucky. I gotta go make a tinkle.
Him making breakfast even for his mom in the morning. It's so accurate to like his age as a kid of like it's a fucking mess. But even the fact that
when they introduce him, he's like, "Oh, I've seen this one," and just moves on, just fucking forgets the show's even on.
Absolutely. So, Andy wants a good guy doll. His mom did not quite successfully procure one yet for his birthday. She has a suspiciously perfectly sized box with clothes in it. Bitchy move. But she does finally get one from a peddler on the street. Creepy, later on wannabe rapist. And she brings it home to Andy. It turns out to be possessed with the soul of Charles Lee Ray. He needs to put his soul into Andy's body. The idea is that the first person he revealed himself to, he needs to put his soul into their body. If he stays in the doll body too long, he'll be trapped there forever. One thing they do in this movie that they never really come back to, but that I really like, is that as it goes on, the doll looks more and more like Charles Lee Ray, which is great. So you basically have a little like tiny Jack Nicholson running around by the end of the movie. It's got like a real widow's peak and shit. He also has the cool burn scar from when he tries to kill Chris Sarandon. He gets burned. And there's a kid, my dad had a friend, and he took me over. One of those things where you're kids and your parents are probably like smoking pot upstairs, but they stick your kids together and they make you go down to the basement and play together, and you never met him. But he had a fucking Chucky doll, like original Chucky doll with the burn in the face and everything.
Really?
It was dope. I was like, it scared the shit out of me, but like looking back on it, I was like, that's awesome. Also, maybe the first place I ever played the game Contra, now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, also, it's
good times.
Brian,
don't
tell any anecdotes about your childhood, please.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring any personal interest.
No, you can, because this is your segment. You can talk about it.
Just don't interrupt Joe's segment where I want to talk more about every movie, and he's going to start to, and I'm going to be like, no, Joe, wait, Friday the 13th. I mean, I've got some things to say.
The best parts about this entire film is like, if you're like back in like the 90s when you see it, at least when I saw it, even though it came out in the 80s, like they played on TV and there's that one part where it's in the elevator with an old couple and it's like someone left their doll here and the woman goes, "That's one ugly doll," and it's like. Fuck you! Like that is one of the best Brad Dourif fucking delivered
That's
lines.
in my best line, so I won't have to talk about that one here. That's under my best lines for sure. So obviously the whole movie is about Andy. People are dying. People don't believe Andy, and then people don't believe Andy and his mom, and then people don't believe Andy and the cop. Like Chucky keeps revealing himself to people, and nobody believes them anyway.
I mean, to be fair, would you? Would you be like,
That's the great
as a
part.
parent, as the only parent on the podcast, there's a certain level of like.
Why are you trying to show off?
If it got to a point, my dick works. Guys. Can I tell you, my dick works.
You're fertile. Good for you.
But the point is, I'm just trying to say, from my perspective, is your kid, like, if there's some crazy shit going on and your kid is like, I mean, you at least have to consider it, I think.
No, I think in reality you're right, but in the terms of like movie world or wherever it works, it is what it is, right? That's the shit with all kids. Hey, this is going on.
You don't want to make an announcement, do you?
I'm going to take this knife, and you guys are about to not be able to air this podcast.
Hold on, you went. Brian said the only father of the podcast.
No, I said, like I don't want to hear about you being like the only parent on the. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, it's true. It's fair. As a father, that's what I should have said. As a father,
as somebody with balls that carry semen that work.
I like that this one we get a little bit more dwarf work. I had that in my notes. More dwarfs working. You get a lot of little people getting a job, running around with a Chucky mask on. Also, the kid from Children of the Corn is one of the actors in the Chucky costume at one point.
Wait, he wants you too, Malachi. That guy?
Yeah, him. Yep, absolutely.
Get the fuck out
of here. What's wild?
I'm just saying, man. I learned things.
You're such a big fan, TJ. You didn't know that.
No, I don't.
All right.
Closer.
I don't want to drive. I don't want to push through too much. I did want to say that one of my scariest moments in the whole movie, and I wanted to bring it up when I was talking about the dwarf actor, is when the burned Chucky is stalking
human beings that are under.
That is the correct term, Jusef. I'm telling you.
I know that in 5 years we're just gonna get canceled because of this shit.
Well, you know what? I will come out and publicly apologize. I won't be a prick about it. I'll just admit that I was wrong.
Are you gonna meet their demands? Are you gonna attend a meeting and go talk to
them? You know what? I will meet with the dwarf council, but they have to meet my conditions, is what I'm saying. They have to watch the whole episode so they know exactly what I said, and they have to admit that a better podcast is not funny. Okay? That's it. Those are my conditions. Anyway, guys, we need to stop derailing. Stop it. They stop Chucky. Chucky is defeated. End of movie. I got best kill. I got best line. I got worst line because Jusef said this was going to be a thing, and I feel like nobody else has done it really. But I got them all for every movie.
I did it. You weren't paying attention, but I did it.
I was looking at my notes.
Yeah, because you wouldn't let us have a conversation with you.
Shut up, Joe.
Can I guess your best and worst lines?
Oh man, I mean, if you want, you already spoiled some of them. I mean,
damn it. It's kind of hard to pick a best line in this Chucky, though.
Well, I mean, we all know the best line in the whole movie is delivered by Alex Vincent, and it's "This is the end, friend." That's the line. It's so fucking good. It's incredible.
I thought it was gonna be the clip that Joe has in the intro.
No, that's a great. I mean, the reveal is really incredible. I love that, but I don't think the line is necessarily my favorite.
So I have it actually in my intro because it's like about to start talking, so it's like, talk to me, damn it. That's why.
Yeah, what makes also shout out to Joe's sister-in-law, one of the best reveals we've ever had on film. Which I could send this to Jusef for this. I still haven't, but
this movie is still effective. That's the point.
Yeah, what makes the Alex Vincent line "This is the end, friend" is how like Brad Dourif gets like the sense of, he's like, Andy, friends at the end, remember? Like the softness of it. And
It's
then he's like, "This is the end, friend," and throws the match in.
Well,
Which
it's also a great arc for the Alex Vincent little boy Andy Barclay character. Like
Yeah.
I said,
It's a
there's
Rocky
points where
moment.
my heart breaks. Like when he's like, because the first part, Andy is so happy to actually have a friend, and like you can tell that Chucky is like gaslighting the shit out of him and stuff. And then shit really starts to get horrible, and he's like, "Tell him, Chucky, tell him why you lied about
when he
everything." And
punches
it's just
him.
like, yeah, he's like he really emotes a lot. And like I said, as a little kid, I felt that, like watching those movies, I felt that betrayal. That
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? That he thought he had a friend and it turns out he's been being manipulated and he feels like I felt that. And then to get him to pay that off at the end is so great. Also, little Alex
it's
Vincent
a Rocky
delivering the
moment.
line,
It's a
little Alex Vincent delivering the line, Chucky says Aunt Maggie was a bitch and she got what she deserved. That will always be incredible.
And he's just
You know
like,
what?
"Are you mad at me that I just said your friend is a bitch?"
Yeah. He's like, you're yelling at me because of Aunt Maggie, huh? She is
He
dead.
says Daddy's up in heaven. I'm gonna meet him one of these. You're like, "Holy shit, here we go."
The worst lines, let's see. Chucky says, I've got a date with a 6-year-old boy. There's not too many. There's some ADR when the bum is trying to rape Catherine Hicks, and then the cop Chris Sarandon shows up to save her. There's some bum ADR where he's like, "Christ, he's a cop," because you realize that without that, it's just a man showing up waving a gun around at some homeless people. Like somebody has to acknowledge that he's a cop and he has authority. I mean, not that stopping a rape is bad, but he's also just like rousting a whole like encampment. You know what I mean? Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I didn't get anything else. The best kills. Aunt Maggie getting thrown out the window, hammer and going out the window is a great one. I remember that was the one my cousin told me about before I ever saw the movie.
Shout out to living
The
in
guy-
Chicago, and that building is not around anymore, by the way.
Oh,
Which
shout
sucks.
out.
Yeah.
The voodoo guys getting his leg snapped. Chucky using the voodoo doll to snap the voodoo guy's leg. Not enough of that kind of voodoo killing.
Yeah,
in any
they
of the
should have done more voodoo throughout the series.
Chucky's voodoo powers do like grow and like they do build on that and everything, but like yeah, they never went back to
Chucky killed voodoo.
what is it, Joe? Yes, Joe.
That
Joe.
that whole thing in the with the voodoo kill and that guy, like, don't you just wish in like some different universe that connected it to the Candyman and that's the same
I'll tell you what, when they're
it's the
going,
same project
Catherine
housing.
Hicks is looking through Charles Lee Ray's apartment and there's all the murals on the wall and stuff. I was getting huge Candyman vibes from that.
Well, it's all in Chicago. They're both in Chicago.
Yeah.
They both deal with the projects.
Yeah. And
Like,
later
that could
on,
be
Bride of Chucky, they totally connect to, Bride of Chucky, because it's so meta, is like a Leslie Vernon, where it's set in the universe with all serial killers,
Yeah. Anyway, that's like, in
Yeah, that's a good
hindsight,
point.
I'm like, you could have went back and been like, yo, this is Cabrini Green, like I deal with the voodoo.
But
This
what is
the
what is the
blah,
timeline though? When was the first Candyman?
94?
92?
92,
92, I
92.
think.
So they could have done like a good guy Easter egg in Candyman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
Well, like,
think
about
have a
then,
painting
first
of
time you
Brad
see-
Dourif on the wall and Candyman
Yeah,
or
it's like
something.
87, 89, 91.
mention the River Strangler or
Lakeshore.
Yeah, that would
Lakeshore
make sense.
Strangler.
Lakeshore Strangler.
Oh,
Two.
and also has to be mentioned under best kills, and this goes for the first 3 movies. Always Chucky's death is always one of the best kills in the
so
movie.
Good. Yeah, the
Sure.
burning of
He got
that
him-
doll.
He gets burned, he gets shot to pieces, and then his dead, decapitated body attacks that cop, which I fucking love. The cop who's not taking it seriously enough and jumps out of it. It's like a one-armed little doll. I did want to address the whole idea because that was a big thing with Chucky, and we'll get to it a little more in Bride. But like, there's always the thing of like, oh, that's just a doll. In my head canon, it's never really addressed because of his voodoo powers. I always felt like Chucky has the leverage of a full-grown man. So even though he's small, he has like strength, and he can he's
Kinda like
heavy on
Ant-Man.
you. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I love in these before you move on to 2, I love in these first movies, if almost all of the ones we covered, I guess except Wishmaster, just because it wasn't like a huge success. is they always say, we never thought it was going to be a big success. We never thought the movie was going to be something special. If you watch any behind the scenes of any major like horror franchise, Child's Play, like there's people like in those like docs
I
say
can't
that.
wait for Netflix, the movies that made us, to fucking come up with.
Oh, I hope they do that one. Jusef's also like that's a cult success, but when we get to Friday the 13th, like they said that shit. Halloween, Freddy, like they all were like
the Halloween how they made like it.
Movies that made us.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. Like it was like,
yeah.
oh, the producer said this, and the producer.
Well, it was just like the whole thing of like, well, we couldn't get John Carpenter, so we're going to pretend it was all this guy's idea.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, John Carpenter. I feel like he was.
All right, hey,
more heavily involved.
Jusef, we've done Halloween. Quit trying to derail my segment.
I'm sorry.
man.
I'm sorry.
Ridiculous. Let's move on to Child's Play 2.
The
Andy-
best opening sequence.
Oh man, I love this opening.
Easily.
The best movie.
So good. They scrape all the burned Chucky pieces off down to the metal skull and recreate him. Andy is in foster care. His mom is in a mental institution. The cops who also saw Chucky recanted. They didn't back her up, so she's in a mental institution. And Chucky is in Andy is in foster care. Also, the Good Guy Company, despite the bad press, does not want to give up on their toy because it's a big moneymaker. So, for some reason, they refurbished the actual murder doll, which is weird. Like, it's great opening sequence, but why would you even do that? Why would you bother? And then a guy dies while you're doing it, and you still continue, and you're just like, nah, everything's fine. It's cool.
It's strong, like RoboCop. It's like that board is like strong RoboCop vibes. You know?
Yeah, if you told me that like the Child's Play universe is
Needs it
is
twice.
like RoboCop is the future of the Child's Play universe, I would believe that for sure.
Yeah.
In the 80s and like late 80s, we were big into criticizing capitalism, but we never did anything about it, and so here we are.
It's kind of
We
like,
were all our art was like, hey, this might be bad, and nobody did anything.
Would you say he's like maybe 2-3 years removed? Like he's not that much older, but he's older enough.
It's only supposed to have been like less than a year, I think. I don't think it's
That's
supposed to have been
fucking wild, because he even had that scene where like, I'm gonna cut you out, but like where he hears the people who adopt him talking shit about him, so he grabs the doll. He's like, "Oh, we're going downstairs to play," and you're like, "That's not okay."
Yeah. Like he gets sent to a foster home. Like there's as far as new actors in this one, the people who play as foster parents aren't really anybody. There's a couple of great character actors in this. Grace Zabriskie plays the lady at the foster home.
Yeah,
and she'll always be Susan's mom from Seinfeld to me, but she's also just a great character actor. And also got a shout out to Beth Grant, who plays Mrs. Kettlewell, the teacher who gets killed later, which we'll come back to.
You've been a very bad teacher, Mrs. Kettlewell.
But yeah, so he goes home with these people immediately. Obviously, Chucky finds his way. I think this was the first movie I ever saw somebody suffocated with a plastic bag. So he gets.
It's great. It's intense.
It's the slimy assistant to the boss guy, who he kills, and he uses
a bottle
his
of
phone.
vodka.
Ends up finding Andy and getting to Andy at the house, and then we've talked about this several times in the show, but one of the tightest sequels. I mean, this movie just clips along so well and doesn't take a breather and just keeps moving.
I would be upset if they came out with the director's cut of this movie.
Oh yeah, where I'm like, no, you fucked it up. It's the editing. The editing is part of what makes it great.
Imagine like the new Chucky series is out now. They went, you know what? Forget 2 and everything after that. We just do 1, and then we start a new sequel after
that is what's so good about this, because this whole series, because it was all written by Don Mancini, it always hangs with the continuity. He always respects the continuity. That's what makes it so incredible. It's really great,
because it truly is a passion of.
It's an auteur franchise, really.
Yeah, obviously it's not on the same level, but that's kind of why I was so intrigued with Phantasm, because it is the baby of this man. He just did everything, so you kind of have to respect that Don just fucking created this, so he's such a unique character, and then just kept like like evolving
Layering,
it
layering.
to it's so good. It's really
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
can I ask a question?
Now,
Just a general Child's Play question. Do we ever find out like why Catherine Hicks just never decided to reprise? Because everyone else has reprised the role.
She was too busy being on Seventh Heaven.
Yeah, I think Seventh Heaven took off in like
oh
90.
right, she's Seventh Heaven.
Too
Yeah.
wholesome.
Yeah, and especially like I probably that because all that cast got really up their own ass, thinking like, oh, we are very pure, we are very Christian.
Except Jessica Biel, she went and did some nudie mags
Oh,
and
she went
whatnot.
rebel.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
Catherine Hicks, right before this movie, after Child's Play, she played a movie where she was a baseball house mom, which is someone who takes in traveling baseball players for like minor league teams, and you just them off.
Oh, really?
That movie when she showed her boobs, she got nude.
Wow.
Yeah, you find it.
I am not
Yeah,
familiar
look it
with
up.
this.
Body
And
heat.
she's yep, and that's right before Seventh Heaven. So she kind of just like hit her like paces. She did a horror movie, did this, and then hit Seventh Heaven and made all of her TV money. All she needed to do.
I just think it's
Shut up.
weird.
I
Like
she's
she's
not
a, like.
against it. I feel like she's done some conventions where she like was on a panel or
Oh,
and talked
that's
about it.
what
I
I
don't
was
feel like
asking.
she's like I don't feel like she's one of those people who like hates on the movie or
That's
anything.
what I was asking.
I mean, I've never seen her do anything else. I wouldn't be surprised though if she shows up in the Chucky series. Why
I mean,
not?
they got
That would be a
everybody else
cool
back.
cameo.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
That'd be an amazing cameo. That'd be incredible.
She's like the first Child's Play is her partially her movie next to
She
Annie.
Oh, sure,
she
yeah.
plays like to essentially a
She
Nancy
is essentially
in
the
the Nightmare.
lead of the movie, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a Nancy. She's someone who like has a strong part in the film, and like even for us today who are huge Child's Play fans, like they never use her again. Maybe in a picture.
I'd like to see what she's up
for the
to.
third one. I would love to see her come back because even if she did come back for something small, you're gonna make a little bit of cash off that. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Sure.
You're gonna make that much money off Seven.
And it's gonna be like just to use Bam Bam Bigelow's lingo, it would be a huge pop. Like the audience would be like, boom.
Yeah. If she
Killer.
came back,
Just
definitely
killer
be a big pop.
Yeah.
So Chucky kills his way through the foster parents and he kills some other people. And then we have what I have to consider maybe the greatest climax of a horror movie in
One
the
of the best.
Child's Play doll factory. It's what a great location, right?
My favorite kill.
Incredible.
New eyes.
I was gonna say, yeah, the eyes, right? The guy fixing the machine and getting the eyes jammed into him. One of the best
I
kills
think
in
that
the movie,
was
sure.
submitted into the best horror kills bracket. If you haven't
You
seen
made
that,
it far.
might
You
be
made it
right.
far, I believe.
You might
I
be
mean,
right.
for me, it's even when he dips his fucking hand that's cut off into the knife.
Oh yeah.
Makes that his new weapon where he just has a fucking wristband.
that's
Yeah.
another thing. That's another thing. The anatomy of the doll, like
So
seeing the veins and the.
Well, in this one, that's what I love in Child's Play 2. He gets the chance to like finally put his soul into Andy, and it's too late. He's been in the doll too long, and he can't get out of it. I love that little detail, and that's when he like flips out and he's gonna murder everybody. And
Yeah,
then
he's like,
like
"Fuck it,
the
I'm just
fact
gonna kill."
the humanism of the doll and all the like how he gets mangled as the climax goes on, and then and then again, like all Child's Play movies, Chucky's death is one of the best. Although it does have that one moment where it's a little too silly, where it like cuts to his face when his head's getting all big and he's got like the Cabbage Patch Kids look. He's like, it's almost a little too silly, but it's great. I mean, I wouldn't take it away. It's so good. A couple things I have to mention. I love anytime you see Chucky's little feet dangling out of something, like he's climbing up under the bus. He's falling into school, so he's under the bus, and you see his little feet kicking. Love it. And also, anytime Chucky flips the bird. This is the first movie where Chucky flips the bird, and he does it a couple different times. Fucking love it every time. I love it.
The newspaper guy's like, "You crazy bitch!" When they crash in the car, and then she pulls over with the fucking guys in the back seat.
What I really love, and I think I also enjoyed about Phantasm is obviously the practical effects of it. But I just love how his hand contorts. Like you can see the
little knuckle.
Silicone. The
Knuckle,
silicone of the hand is going like this to control
And
it.
two, his face gets more expressive too. The
Yeah,
Chucky gets a little bit better. He's really he's got a lot of, he can really like get a sneer going in this one.
Yeah.
You know.
I love practical effects.
I was gonna say I was gonna give it like I know you're gonna keep
take.
going, Brian, but like for Child's Play, like it seems like other than Michael Myers, the most easy to explain. My girl, we started watching Chucky the series, and she is petrified of watching Child's Play. Petrified. So I was like, I can promise you, this is more funny. It's more meta. It's like
Laura was able to watch it too.
Yeah, it's more out there for you that if you didn't want to watch the first one. She's like, all right, just give me the background of Chucky. 5 minutes is all it took to be like, all right, he's a fucking serial killer. He has voodoo. He put a soul in a doll, and that's where we're at. Like that's what it's like.
There's more depending on what they reveal in the show. I can catch you up as we go.
Yeah.
Like, I have a note in here when I'm under my Bride of Chucky notes that like I feel like Bride of Chucky is a great starter horror movie for a girlfriend. Like if you were trying to get your girlfriend into horror movies, you could start with Bride of Chucky, and that's like a fun little. It's a little bit comedy, it's a little bit romance, but it's still got horror shit in it. I feel like that's a good start.
And it's in that vein of like 90s like vibe where I feel like none of them were like they were all following Scream, so.
Oh yeah, very much so.
They're palatable. They're all palatable.
Not to jump the gun, but yeah, I have a note about that too. Real quick, let's run it down. Best lines. The little delay where Chucky's first in the house and he goes, "Hi, I'm Tommy." Like he has to think about it for a second. So good. I love that.
Oh yeah, I love the blinking. How the blinking looks in the dolls.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite lines is Chucky says to a 7-year-old Andy, "We act like you've never seen a dead body before." So funny. Like, well, I have, but because of you, and it's awful. It's ruined me.
I'm never gonna have a normal life.
The worst line is when Andy tells the bully to get lost, microchip. What?
Yeah, right.
What? That's nothing. That's not a thing.
Doesn't mean anything.
Best kills. We talked about the eye machine already. I talked about the first time I saw. We mentioned it in passing, but you've been very naughty, Mrs. Kettlewell. Him beating her to death with a yardstick after he pumps her full of some air. So whatever happens there.
Even the fact that when he kills the dad and how's it hanging?
That was my last one, Phil. And best lines. How's it hanging, Phil?
Because Phil sees Chucky right before he dies and believes Andy, and then everyone else blames him.
Yeah.
Which is
when the Chuckies are. That's right. Spoilers. The Chuckies are talking to each other in cult. They go over that. They were like, "Oh, you love to reveal yourself at the last minute." And they know that it's true, and they know the whole time, that it has been a killer doll. And but just before they die, they talk. I just love. That's the great thing about having Don to write all of them is that they can get that meta where you can really get into the minutia of Chucky's mindset and what he loves about being Chucky. I love that shit. Okay, Child's Play 3, another good one. I really love the setting of the military school. We jump ahead 8 years in time, so we have to replace little Alex Vincent with Justin Whalen, who the only other thing I can remember him from personally is Serial Mom, but I know he's been in some other things too.
Sequest.
Oh, he's from Sequest?
Yeah.
Well, did he replace Jonathan Brandis or something?
He did.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Dolphins. That's all I remember.
It's got a good opening in this one, not quite as good as 2, but I like the way they pick up the giant mask that used to be Chucky. It drips blood into that whole tub of plastic. But wouldn't that make an army of Chuckies? Every doll that had that plastic in it would become a Chucky.
Well, I don't know. That they do the slow motion Halloween pumpkin that they're doing now, where it deteriorates, but it's a rubber mask becoming.
Yeah,
a doll face.
It goes in reverse. Getting formed into a doll face. It's cool. It's just not quite as cool. They set the bar pretty high with the second one. But Andy gets sent, older Andy's 16 now. He's been in and out of foster care. He gets sent to a military academy. Chucky, they dust him off and bring him back. He gets to kill the boss, who's the same because they filmed 2 and 3 back to back. It's the same guy whose assistant got killed in the second movie. He's back in this one. I thought it was weird. They give Chucky to that guy as like the first off the assembly line, a prize, but then in his office he's already got 2 good guy dolls. I mean, I know it was just for aesthetics, but it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm nitpicking a bit.
Hi,
but,
I'm Tommy.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Paulie. Let's see. So he goes to the military academy. Chucky shows up, starts killing people. Doesn't do his Chucky thing.
Yeah.
I
like that in this one he's more of a prankster.
Well, this is the turn. This is the big turn of
I think
really...
the big turn is in Bride. He's definitely still a little scarier in this one.
But there's a big. I feel like there's a gap in the difference between look between this and Bride, and that's why this is when you're they're going more into comedy.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, they have some comedy beats in this one for sure.
But I mean, in terms of a prankster, I mean, I feel like he enjoys more when he replaces the bullets. He's like, they're gonna fuck each other.
Yeah, even
that's one of my. I love that one. That's on my best kill. It's just the whole how fucked up it is to only give bullets to the one team. So when they start firing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really great.
He's reveling in
when he goes to kill the fucking sergeant and he just has a heart attack and he's like, what the fuck?
He's pissed off about it. Yeah.
He's like, God damn it.
I also noted that they put, Chucky didn't like having lipstick put on him, but we know he's progressed in his views since then. He has he's a queer
son
child, and he's more open. So that's nice. I was noticing that. I was like, look, the Chucky of today wouldn't be so freaked out about having a little lipstick put on him. Our modern Chucky would be fine with that.
He still might be a little racist.
Well, yeah. I don't know though. This is the first movie where he likes the idea of possibly becoming a black person.
Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Chucky's gonna be a bro, exactly. That comes back around in Seed of Chucky too, when he's gonna be Redman. He's gonna take Redman's body.
I didn't put that in.
Yeah, he's always pumped about that.
This movie definitely helped me as a young person know I never wanted anything to do with the military. I was like, I'm never gonna just voluntarily let somebody yell in my face like that and tell me what to do. So fuck this. So that was a good big learning point for me. But I really enjoy this one. The big climax is at a carnival with a haunted house that sets an unrealistic standard for how cool a fairground haunted house would be.
Oh, speaking to somebody that just went to a shitty haunted house, yeah, it does set a high expectation.
I love again with the Chucky death. I love the Two-Face. I love the axe comes down and takes off half his face, which also made me think Brad Dourif would have made a good Two-Face. That's solid casting. Why don't we do that?
You know who's gonna be in Two-Face in that franchise, right?
Who's it gonna be?
The guy who played John Connor and who's in also Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Genesis.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
that's gonna be Two-Face.
You think so?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think they'll do another Two-Face for a while. I think they won't come back to him again. He's had 2 runs already. I don't think.
Yeah, Aaron Eckhart really made that famous.
Two-Face. Let's see. Best kills. We talked about replacing the bullets with the paint bullets with real bullets for one of the teams.
The grenade.
Set up for that. Yep, Whitehurst with the grenade. Whitehurst sacrificing himself.
Fuck Whitehurst.
Oh, boo! No, I won't.
So
annoying. Red team.
I will not stand
red
this
team.
Whitehurst
We got a
slander.
situation here. The old chief.
So annoying.
Advise you to move your troops in now.
By the way,
Joe would have been one of the guys bullying Whitehurst before Andy got there.
Absolutely, I love that. That entourage, hot entourage, is in this movie. Ari Gold's wife is the girl.
Yes,
she's also Will Ferrell's wife in Old School.
Yeah,
she's a very attractive woman. That was one of the best.
Perry Reeves is her name.
You guys know the
she grew up and looked better as she got.
Oh yeah, she's a very attractive woman.
We also didn't talk about Andrew Robinson from Hellraiser as the army barber. And
Barber, yep.
one of my favorite kills is
He was
Presto,
very sadistic.
Presto,
yeah.
You're Dead is such a great one, you know.
That's
Presto,
so fun.
you're dead.
And I love, again, with Don Mancini writing the whole, he brings back that Chucky doesn't want his haircut. That comes back in the franchise. That's what you get. That kind of depth is what you get when you let one man write all 7 movies.
Also, the Jersey accent. Presto, you're dead. Like, that's...
Get dead.
Some of my best lines, nothing like a strangulation to get the circulation going.
Yep.
I know people might think don't fuck with the Chuck, but too cliche. Not my favorite. It's just, you know what I mean?
That's just a tagline. It's a line, you know? It's not
I did have Chucky's gonna be a bro, though. Love that shit.
Did you have...
They edit that shit. And some copies you watch of the movie, they edited that line.
They edit
Did you have
Chucky's
this,
gonna be
though?
a bro?
Yeah.
This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for
This is
shooting.
for shooting.
This
And
is
this
for
is
fun.
for fun.
Yeah.
So let's see. That's the so Chucky falls into a fan. He gets chopped up into a million pieces, and we're on to Bride of Chucky. 1998's Bride of Chucky, riding the wave, like Joe was mentioning, of post-Scream horror revivals. I feel like Don Mancini really had his finger on the pulse. I feel like in the intervening years between Child's Play 3 and Bride of Chucky, there had been that kind of like, oh, Chucky's not scary, he's dumb, throw a blanket over him, you know, he's only the size of a baby. So like Don Mancini knew the best bet was to lean into the comedy a little more and get a little more meta, get a little more self-referential. And I think he was a little bit ahead of the curve on that. Like, you know, he knew exactly the tone to jump to. Shout out to Ronnie Yu for directing this one. Also directed Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Katherine Heigl, John Ritter as her uncle.
I like that he's the bad guy. He usually is not.
So good.
He's usually
not.
You
don't get to see him play a dick very often. He's really good in this. So this is also our introduction of Jennifer Tilly, or Tiffany Valentine, to the franchise, who will become a major part. She's Charles Lee Ray's previously unmentioned girlfriend, who collects up his parts who gets his parts from the lockup and sews him back together. Under my best lines, I have just anytime Jennifer Tilly does the chant, I dare do it, you know, like her
You're doing
voice.
Good Jennifer Tilly.
Oh well, thank you. I've been practicing. I just love her doing the voodoo chants. That's so funny to me.
You do your best impression from Bound, real fast.
There he is. That's Gina Gershon. Let's see. Okay, so you know, you got the main kids, Katherine Heigl and her boyfriend want to run away together. Don Mancini finally gets to bring in a legitimate gay character, so I noted that, like, probably nice for him. The character has to be a little bit of a cliche because it's still the 90s, but overall, I expected to be putting some of that character's lines in the worst lines, and I didn't. I don't think I noted anything that he said that was too terrible.
Yeah, he was just a little like sassy.
Cliche, that was too, you know.
You know, that's what they leaned on, right? He was just a little more sassy than.
Right. I mean, he was like, yeah, don't get me wrong, he was classic gay best friend movie cliche, but like, he didn't have any lines that I thought were super embarrassing. You know what I mean?
I've told you guys a story about Bride of Chucky with me walking into Blockbuster, right? And didn't refuse to walk into Blockbuster.
No, I don't think so. Why?
So, what would it come in '98? So what? I'm 7 or 8 maybe when the tape's out, and our friend who was watching us, blah blah blah, was like, we're going to Blockbuster, like, to rent movies, as they always did for like to babysit. And they put these big fucking posters to line up the new releases with the lights up on the walls, and I would love going to Blockbuster, except that time, because that cover followed me.
Oh, okay.
The two split face, like
sure, yeah.
Poster. And I literally, I was like, I'm going to stand outside. And she's like, you're 7. You can't stand outside.
You can't stand outside by yourself, 7-year-old.
And I refuse to just like walk in the Blockbuster where they're like the people working were like, what's his deal?
That's awesome. I love it. I love that every kid of a certain age has a "I'm traumatized by Chucky" story because Chucky is kind of starter horror because he's a doll, but also he is scary to a child.
And you know what? All I tell people though is give it a rewatch because you will like it as an adult. Any of them.
I hate it. I was not a Bride of Chucky fan when it first came out. I will admit that I didn't get the joke. I wasn't in on it. I wasn't savvy enough to think that was good. I was a fan of the original Chucky trilogy. I liked my Chucky scary. I liked my Chucky pretty serious.
Oh, Brian,
I was not
Chucky.
into it. Like
I just meant Chucky in general.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Anytime someone says, "Oh, I was as scared as a kid," right?
Yeah.
And it happens a lot. I meet a lot of people that say that. I say, give it a rewatch because they don't want to. And I'm like, no, just watch it as a movie. Like, don't watch it as a horror movie. Watch any one of them.
Yeah. No, actually, absolutely. And like I said, this is one that grew on me for sure. Or I matured and understood it better or whatever. So the story is that they are on the run kind of from Tiffany wakes up Chucky, but then Chucky kind of fucks up and reveals that he didn't really she thought that he was going to marry her and he never was. So she gets mad and locks him up. Chucky doesn't like that. So he kills her and puts her body into a doll, which I have to say, they fixed this in later versions, but the Tiffany doll in Bride of Chucky is pretty fucking hideous. It's it's a weird looking doll. Its face is too wide or something.
She looks like a drag queen.
Yeah, not my favorite version. They definitely hotten her up by the time you get to Seed, though.
Yeah, she looks like a drag queen in RuPaul season 1, and later season now, where they really blur their line.
I'd hit it. I'll just admit that. Come on.
That sex scene with the doll, perfect.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, we go on basically a little road trip with Chucky and Tiffany killing people, and the two human characters kind of each thinking the other one is doing the murders as they go. So you have that kind of fun element where they're kind of blaming each other. And this is the first one where we kind of get a little more fast and loose with the voodoo, because now there's a previously unmentioned Heart of Damballa medallion that you can use to transfer your soul into basically anybody. So you don't just have to, not just the first person you revealed yourself to. And then they take a pilgrimage to Hackensack, New Jersey. That's where Charles Lee Ray is buried. And they eventually, Tiffany kind of sees that Chucky's never going to be the man that she wanted him to be, and they kind of have a split here, which does not last. And Chucky gets killed yet again, which I love his line of, it's like, I always come back, but this dying part always sucks, or whatever it is, right before he gets killed. We also have
so sweet.
We have a great little shovel fight with some dwarves in Chucky costumes. Shout out to dwarves again. Love it when dwarves are in the Child's Play movies. It's fine because I'm being positive. This is the movie that makes it canon that Chucky smokes weed, so that's important.
It's the most freewheeling Chucky movie at the moment.
No way Seed is worse. Seed is crazy.
Why did I just said at the moment.
Yeah, it's that when it comes out for sure, it fully, I talked about, changes the whole dynamic of what Chucky is and leans into the comedy aspect a lot. So for this one, best kill, John Ritter getting the nails in his face is obviously top tier. That's a really great one. And then the whole little shtick about them trying to hide the body and stuff, that's all a lot of fun too. Alexis Arquette appears in this, and
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and that's that whole sequence with her and trying to R.I.P. Sorry, excuse me. when she's like, she calls him Schmucky, and then he's got on the lap, he's like, and like throws him off to the side and stuff. All that is so
It's
funny.
so fun.
And then leading up to the death where his head turns around and she sets him on Tiffany sets Chucky on his chest and is like doing this dance, and that's all great. That sequence rules. And then the bus smash, the gay friend predates Final Destination, and the effects are okay. They're good enough, and it's really gross and gory, which is fun.
So this is where I drop off.
Yeah.
I really haven't seen.
You haven't seen the newer ones?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be quiet and I'm enjoy your commentary.
That's fair. Good.
I've seen only one
Guys,
scene,
we
and
still
I've
have
never
one
seen
more franchise to get to, and there's 12 of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to work through these as quick as I can. Trust me, if you could see my notes, you would know.
I'm not judging you, Brian.
Through.
Brian, I'm not judging any of it. I'm just letting the audience know that this is if you're on a long car ride, you picked the right podcast.
Yeah, that's true. This is our yearly blow it out.
We're gonna get you from New York to California.
This is for us. Everyone, just take a drink right now. I think this is about a good time to.
I'm gonna.
I tweeted earlier today. This is Flyboy Christmas, so.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm looking. I've looked. I
Dude,
don't know why I chose it.
I shaved my head to look like a balding man.
Is it burning?
Yeah, after this, I gotta get in the shower and get these
child's costume
tattoos off me.
So it is entertaining.
My mask is suffocating my head, and my nostrils probably look like you've been
doing. We're doing it for the love of the
game. Let's see what I say. Best lines. I already talked about Tiffany, Jennifer.
So the reason why I said that is it's not that I'm don't want to participate. Is I just don't have anything to add. So I just want.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I'll get us through. Don't worry. I'll get you through, baby.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the whole line where she says the guy's like "fuck you" to John Ritter. He's like, but you won't, not tonight, not Jade anyway. It's like he delivers it with such great John Ritter energy.
RP as well.
Yeah, and a lot of these worst lines I always had the hardest time with. There's not that much, there's not that many bad lines.
That's a symbol of a good franchise.
Yeah, exactly. Don Mancini, he doesn't leave fat on his scripts. He tightens that shit up.
Yeah, he has abs and he's almost in his 60s. So
Did
he doesn't like fat.
Oh, you guys aren't on the TikTok really, but there's a popular movie TikTok guy. He's blown up. He just got a lot of beef, at least from Child's Play people like us, Chucky people, comparing Child's Play to the Fast and Furious of the horror franchises and he tried to explain himself, being how from when it starts, how off the rails it gets, but it's all the same person. But he got roasted by the horror community for it, but he's really popular, and it was very nice to see.
Chucky's got, like I said, Chucky's got a fan base, and Don Mancini tapped into that queer horror thing too, of we're gonna get into it more here in C, but he really
Joey's trying to keep us young, but we're old. We don't know what's happening on TikTok. This man is almost in his 40s. I'm 33. This guy's 30. You're the young guy, so you keep us young.
I get it.
You keep us young.
We all had a good time.
You're our TikTok reporter.
Well, in TikTok right now, there was there's this woman whose dad.
No, we shouldn't be spending time on this. You just said we have 12 movies.
This is
Child's Play. Halfway through my franchise here.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'll just let you go.
Come on, Brian. Just push it.
There's a really good Child's Play documentary made that can't get funding. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, I'm not going to fund it, so sorry. I only listen to free content. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So 2004 comes around. Seed of Chucky. The very first one directed now by Don Mancini also, and written.
Sorry, I never saw it.
It doesn't look great. He definitely gets more into his own as a director later. And it maybe leans a little too heavily into the meta and into the early 2000s hard R comedy, gross out, try to be outrageous comedy stuff. But there's still but the Glenn like the baby that is born at the end of Bride of Chucky, because Don Mancini doesn't leave anything on the table, and if it's in continuity, he will bring it back. I love the addition of Glenn as the child of Chucky and Tiffany.
I don't love the puppet though. I've seen the puppet picture.
The puppet's creepy looking for sure.
Yeah.
It has
Sharp teeth.
the movie look though. It has like softcore porn camera work.
Yeah. It does. It feels like, well, it feels a little bit like a TV set, and like,
Very
they,
like bright, like blown out lights. Like it don't look great.
Jennifer
How do you
Tilly
know
is
that, Joe?
great coming back playing herself and like making fun of herself. There's a lot of really funny jokes that she
Red
does
Man
about
shit
herself.
is amazing.
Red Man's good. Now, I did want to say this is a first for the franchise. The Chucky and Tiffany dolls that come to life in this movie don't have any connection to the previous versions. We've always seen in Chucky to Child's Play 2, it was the scraping and creating the new one, and then you had the thing get picked up, the blood and the new, and then you had the pieces of the chopped up Chucky sewn together. In Seed of Chucky, they're making a Chucky and Tiffany movie, very Stab, very Scream 2. They're making a Chucky and Tiffany movie, and the actual Chucky and Tiffany animatronics that they're using for the movie are what Glenn brings to life with the spirits. He has the heart of Dembala, and he brings them to life. So this was the first time that we are now off the rail. This is not original. There's no more original Chucky after Bride, from what I can tell. Every Chucky after that is different.
Can we do I know I missed the last one because of work, but can we do like a watch along of the Seed?
Yeah, sure. We can do a watch along of Seed.
Because I've never seen it. Honestly, I've never seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wild one. Like I said, it's a Child's Play movie, but it's also a early 2000s raunchy R-rated comedy. It does have Redman. It does have John Waters, Billy Boyd as the voice of Glenn. We love to see it.
Is like Redman's trying to make a movie about Jesus, and he's trying to cast.
Redman's trying to make Jennifer Tilly wants to cast as a Virgin Mary in Redman's movie about Jesus.
Because
I saw that movie you and Gina and Sean. That shit was great. And then
Chucky and Tiffany are gonna steal Redman and Jennifer Tilly's bodies and become human. And they're also dealing with Glenn, who doesn't have any genitals, so is like a kind of struggling with their sexual identity, and ends up actually having two personalities, Glenn and Glenda, and Glenn is kind of innocent, and Glenda is the murderous, more Chucky-like,
which is a reference to a B movie
an Ed Wood
from
movie. Yep,
an
Ed Wood movie, Glenn or Glenda.
This is I forgot to mention the last Phantasm felt like an Ed Wood movie because Ed Wood was famous for using stock footage, and there's a lot of stock footage in the last Phantasm. Sorry, that was something I had on my notes and I never mentioned. You mentioned Ed Wood. That was too coincidental to not mention. All right, go ahead.
And yeah, like I said, since Jusef hasn't seen it, and I do consider it to be, if I was, not that I would get rid of it because of Glenn, but it's definitely at the bottom of my rankings. It just, it feels like, Don Mancini hasn't quite found his footing as a director yet, and it's a little too early 2000s, but it's got some really fun stuff in it. It is really funny.
It's a rare movie where it's aged better than when it had come out.
Yeah, probably.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Is it because the direction of the franchise has favored that movie, or is it just that you accepted it?
Actually, I would say no. I would say they actually made a hard turn away.
They made a hard turn, but I'm talking about myself. Like, I accepted the movie because I thought it was terrible when I saw it, and then. Like, after becoming so in love with Child's Play after knowing you guys for the last 4 years, and really loving it and watching all of them, that one I'm like, no, I get it all. I get it all. This movie.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it has its place in the franchise. Like, I still think it's good enough that it doesn't deserve to be thrown on the trash heap.
That's
Chucky,
what I meant.
eventually, it has a great moment where Chucky finally fully embraces being a killer doll and realizes he doesn't want to get into a human body anymore. He's like, no, I like this. I like being Chucky now. Like, I fully, which I think is really cool. He basically lives his truth, which is fun. The Tiffany does get into Jennifer Tilly's body, which is great. So now you have like the actress Jennifer Tilly is also Tiffany, which is fun. The Glenn and Glenda characters get separated into two children, which are one of the few things that haven't come back yet. Although the fact that they have referenced Glenn and Glenda, they have referenced Glenn in the new show already, makes me think we will be getting something with that in the show.
And they would be what? Probably like 21 now?
Well, if they were, the movie came out in 2004.
Yeah.
And they were, supposed to be like 5 or, I don't know. They're having the kid's birthday at the end, I remember. Yeah. I can't remember how old he's supposed to be. But let's say conservatively, even if they were like 6 or 7, that's still 17 years ago. They'd still be in their early 20s,
Yeah. He's like 20, or I'm sorry, they're like 24 or so.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. That'd be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chop up this episode. I'm gonna release the full episode, but I feel like Child's Play and I'm feeling Friday.
Dude, we should put all these out as Fear, like special.
They're gonna be whole Fear episodes.
Yeah,
I want to say I do think it would be cool
because I don't want Child's Play to get lost. Like I feel like if people see an episode 3+ hours.
I mean, that's why, unfortunately, we got the episodes we got, or the movies we had. We ran through them. Now it's time for like the.
Oh yeah, that's why I ran. That's why I'm sorry, Joe. I know that I came off a little bit bitchy, but I just wanted to get over our 2 shitty franchises so we can talk about.
Hey, buddy, I get it.
I love you, man. I love you.
I love you too. I was playing into it.
Me too, but I love you, man.
I love you so much.
I think my fourth wine glass is kicking in right now. So.
I've
had.
Let's just keep it moving.
7%. Actually, this is 666%.
Let's keep it moving real quick.
Also, hey,
there's a really funny runner
anniversary, boys. 4th.
What?
4 years.
3 years. 4th Halloween.
Let's just go.
So to wrap up Seed, basically best kill. There's the actual special effects guy, Tony Gardner, who did the special effects for the movie. They do a really fun kill where he gets a wire wrapped around his neck, and then Chucky and Tiffany have the 2 different ends, and they both pull and decapitates him. And he gets to make his own. I remember it being a fun thing because he got to make his own prosthetic head, which is always cool for a special effects guy. And then John Waters is in the movie as a paparazzi guy, and he gets killed with acid getting dumped on him, which is a really good effect, right, really fun.
Shout out S Club 7. Anyone's ever watched S Club 7? The Tiffany's assistant is one of the main characters of the old Fox Family, ABC Family show S Club 7.
Really?
Yes. Look it up.
Wow. Well, I believe it.
Incredible. She sings. She's beautiful. I love her.
All right.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Best lines. Basically anything John Waters says, but specifically when he's spying on Jennifer Tilly and he spots Chucky, the doll, masturbating in the window. Yes, that's in this movie. And he just says, "God bless the little people." So funny.
Yo, John Waters is a treasure in this movie.
Oh, no, absolutely. He's great. And I think having John Waters in the movie keys you into what the tone is going to be. I think that's
a fair assessment because John Waters is not afraid to masturbate with a cross.
Like, this is the level you should be taking this movie seriously. John Waters is here,
John Waters is one of
God bless the little people.
Yeah, John Waters. I'm gonna say it online. I'm gonna say it on record. John Waters is one of those directors that I've never been able to get into. Like I tried.
Have you ever seen Serial Mom? It's his most accessible movie.
No. I don't think those count. I'm talking about water movies. Like
you're talking about like Pink Flamingos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I haven't really got into the hardcore John Waters stuff. I agree.
I saw that one.
I still treasure John Waters though.
Like Divine started masturbating with a cross, and I was like, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a man eat a white dog turd. That's fucked up.
I get it. Let's move on.
I love Redman in this. He's really funny. We only touched on him a little bit, but Jennifer Tilly tries to tell him that she's pregnant, and she thinks that she's pregnant from having sex with Redman. She's actually been inseminated by Chucky. But he just goes, "That's all touching and shit." But I got a vasectomy as soon as I got to Hollywood.
Which I don't think Redman was.
She's like, "Oh, that's all real touching and shit."
I don't think Redman was joking. I feel like he was just.
No, I feel like that's him letting people know.
Yeah.
And then, like I said,
kids?
oh, I love the whole speech about Chucky revealing that he just like wants. He's like, "No, I'm Chucky the Killer Doll, and I love it." And then a great callback to Tiffany's whole Martha Stewart connect thing in The Bride of Chucky, where she's like talking about wanting to be like Martha Stewart. They do a line in a scene where she just goes, "Oh, they're executing Martha Stewart today." She's like watching the news or something. It's so good. Let's see. Worst lines. I did have a worst line for this one. It's just a reference line because it's just like seems so dated. It was like Jennifer Tilly talking about ending up on Fear Factor with eating worms versus Anna Nicole Smith, and I was like, "Oh, Anna Nicole Smith is probably dead within like 6 months of this movie. That's grim."
Dude, I have Samsung TV, and there's like the Samsung TV cable app that every time you turn on the TV, that's where it jumps. And every single day this week, Fear Factor has been the show. It's
Well, there's a
so
whole
weird
Pluto
watching like this
Oh,
ball.
as a news radio fan, I cannot tell you how fucking weird it is what Joe Rogan has become.
Yeah, it's like he's balding and he's kind of like pretending to be a host. It's so fucking weird to see him now.
There's
All
a whole
right. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving, guys. Come on, keep it moving.
Yeah, you have two more. You have two more.
Shake it off.
You're
Curse
your
of Chucky.
sleep paralysis demon now. This one.
Curse of
I
Chucky.
laughed so
2013. This is our first straight to DVD. This is our straight to Blu-ray, whatever release.
It's so good.
Don Mancini's back, writing and directing. Big improvement in Don's directing in this one. It's a Chucky bottle movie, which is fun. You find like you feel trapped, you feel claustrophobic, you're locked in with Chucky, which I think is a lot of fun and makes it stand out a little bit. This is kind of our return. We're back to making serious Chucky movies now. Chucky's scary again in this one.
Yeah.
We're playing it for we're not playing it for laughs anymore. The only problem with this movie is that they use a CGI Chucky a couple times.
Oh,
and it's
fuck no.
very upsetting. There's a couple of times where they have a regular Chucky doll that they use also, but there's times when they cut back and forth and it's always really noticeable. And there's one really bad scene where you see Chucky walking down some stairs. It's really bad.
It's budgetary.
Right. Oh, and I get it. I get why they did it and stuff, but I almost would have been like, then use less Chucky. Get more creative. You know
I agree.
what I mean?
That happened in Phantasm too. The last two, they had some CGI balls, and it's like, no, give me the regular balls.
If you can't do, I'm fine. I get it. If you can't do it budgetary, but then you need to. I would rather see less than better.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Practical effects all the way.
Right.
Wait, I've been doing this whole time. So this I have a weird. This is an adult encounter because this movie was when my early senior year of college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This movie comes out, or like it's at least on video, and I'm interning in downtown Philly, Center City. TJ, you know that FYE that was in Center City?
Yeah.
So it's right across from the office I'm interning at, and I go in there on my lunch break, and I start looking around at horror movies, and this fucking dude, I think I was just being hit on. This dude who's working there starts giving us, "Oh, that Child's Play movie, Chucky movie, called Curse of Chucky, so good." And I'm like, I saw it, it's good. He's like, "You should really buy it." And I'm like, and he follows me around the store basically.
Sorry, reflect.
We're listening to you.
No.
We're listening, but we're also flexing.
You're flexing. All we're saying is, I love this movie, but I also remember this movie fully as being followed around in an FYE, being told to buy it.
How old were you?
21.
2013. So yeah.
This is like last year then.
I was a senior in college.
All right. So we're in a we got we,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that was a good story.
we're in a so this movie we're in a big
I think
mansion.
my favorite aspect of this show is taking Joe super seriously or just fucking with him. This either or. There's no middle ground here.
I have to say, when Jusef's complaining about how long this episode is and he's editing it, I want to remember that I was always trying to keep us on track and get us back to talking about the movie. Unlike usually where I'm the one interrupting everyone, but because this time it's different. Okay, so
I'm
the
just
plot
not
of
gonna
this
edit it.
is
I'm just gonna post
just
it.
put it out, cut it up, and put it out. So
We
anyway,
do this show for us.
Curse of Chucky. We're back, like I said, bottle movie. So we're basically in a large, a mansion. We can call it a mansion. It's got an elevator in it. It's a mansion. Fiona Dourif, daughter of Brad Dourif, plays
Do you
Nika.
wanna explain? Do you wanna explain to the audience what a bottle is?
Oh, do people not know what a bottle movie is?
Maybe you don't know who's listening.
A bottle movie is just a movie that kind of all takes place in one small kind of confined space. You know,
Like the
10
Friday
Cloverfield
13th.
Lane is a good example
The
recently.
Fly episode in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, the Fly episode of Breaking Bad. They know they did a Family Guy where they're in a safe. Plenty of sitcoms do where the people are locked in an elevator or some shit. You know,
It's a way to save money. It's a waste of money.
right. It's to keep the budget down, but it's used to good effect here. You have Fiona Dourif, like I was saying, playing Nika. She's a disabled woman. She's in a wheelchair. She lives with her mother. They get a Chucky doll delivered to them. Promptly, within the next evening, her mom is dead. With her mom dead, her sister comes to town to try to convince Nika that she can't stay in the house by herself. She needs to sell the house and use the money. Well, they will split the money. She can use it to live in a disabled facility that caters to her. And the sister needs the money. She's there with her husband, their daughter, and also a sexy babysitter. I love the subversion that you think the sexy babysitter is having an affair with the dad, but because this is a Don Mancini movie, she's having an affair with the mom. Gotta get that representation in there, baby. I love
I'm sorry, I didn't catch when did this one come out.
2013.
So what's the gap between this one and the other one?
Almost 10 years. 9 years.
Is that the average? Like I feel like the first three came out
No,
fairly
the first
quickly.
3 come out pretty close succession, and then there's about 7 years between 3 and Bride, and another 7 years or 6 or 7 years between Bride and Seed.
Okay.
So this would be the longest gap, I would say.
And this is the second to last, right?
Yeah, we got one more. If you guys let me get to it, I swear to God,
we're getting it.
Oh, we're committed at this point, right?
Yeah, it's like fucking right. Who has to work to?
Like I said, a bunch of people show up to the house to kind of like talk to Nika, figure out what's going to happen with Nika at this house, and Chucky starts killing people like he is a Chucky to do, you know.
Yeah. What else is he gonna do? He's stuck in his doll.
This movie starts to add some new backstory, and because Jusef hasn't seen it, I don't want to, and maybe a lot of other people haven't. Maybe I don't want to spoil too much, but I do like what they do with. They give Charles Lee Ray a little more. He does have a connection from when he was not Chucky, when he was a human, to the mother and this family. So he is here to like tie up some loose ends.
But the lore is it flashbacks or it's just like exposition?
We do get some flashbacks.
We do get the actor actually.
We do get current age Brad Dourif. We do get current age human Brad Dourif trying to play Brad Dourif from 25 years ago. It doesn't necessarily 100% sell, but you know it's all right.
I wish Joe had saved this for his section because this is amazing.
And he should
I fucking love it
too.
Joe's trying to steal my thunder.
Oh, you still have 5 movies to go though.
I know. So many.
We got 12.
We're just 2 hours and 12 minutes in.
It is also revealed. Now I do remember when this came out, and you know we're in 2013. There's been so many reboots and remakes and rebootquels. I didn't know what to think of this movie, and Chucky looked normal. You know, it is revealed that this is the same Chucky. There's a great sequence where somebody starts to like pull some chipping paint off the Chucky's face, and the big scars with the big stitches are
I
revealed.
remember seeing that online.
It's
I
really
didn't know
cool.
it was
It's actually really well done. There's some really great and really scary sequences in this movie. Like I said, only slightly undercut by the CGI Chucky, which I don't want to oversell. I don't want to say that like it's not always a CGI Chucky. It doesn't ruin the movie, but
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Was this Dawn as well?
yeah,
it's all
Don
Don.
directed the last three. So he did
Okay.
Seed, Curse, and Cult. He directed all
Okay.
three.
Don straight up said, "I'm doing it for the rest of
Yeah.
the."
And like I said,
Yeah,
he's
good for him.
done a very fun, good job as far as I'm
fan
concerned.
also.
So Chucky, you find out why Chucky's there and what his whole plan is and why he's after Nika. The movie ends basically with him pinning the murders on Nika and her going to prison for them, her getting sent away to a facility for the criminally insane. And then you get a stinger with Chucky sending himself to Nika's niece and also sending himself to Andy. We get the return of Alex Vincent in the stinger of this movie.
The real Alex Vincent.
The real Alex
The
Vincent,
real
not
Alex,
the the actual Alex Vincent back as Andy Barclay. Very cool, very fun. Let's see here. Best kills. There's a scene where Chucky poisons chili. One bowl of everybody's getting served chili and he poisons one bowl and you don't know who's getting it. That was a really fun, suspenseful scene, and a thing like again where Chucky is dangerous, but he doesn't have to be like physically imposing to be dangerous. He's just in the mix,
I think you mentioned it, but this Cult is the closest to Child's Play, the first one.
Well, yeah, I would say so. Yeah. This feels quiet, like original Child's Play. Sure.
He's he's more
by virtue of being a smaller movie too.
Yeah, he's the shark from Jaws. He's not as quippy. Like it's paced. Anyway, so that makes sense. Like you're just who Chucky is, but you could show this to someone if they don't know who Chucky is. It's a better movie than The Boy.
There's
it's a very low bar though.
Couple other let's see, the best kills. There's a great kind of Final Destination-y kill where he kicks over a bucket of water and it rolls into a floor socket and electrocutes a girl. That's a great one. Let's see, best lines. He tells it's Nika's sister, he's like, "You have your mother's eyes," and they're always too fucking close together, and he's like stabbing her in the face. That's a funny one. I love that. And I love Neek ribbing Chucky and telling him about how like she says something to the effect of like, because he says he tried to kill her before she was even born, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, 25 years must be the longest murder in history," or something. Fiona Dourif. She really gets to shine in. She's good in this. She really gets to shine in Cult. She's so good in Cult.
Well, we're still waiting for her.
It's cool. She's a good actress.
Yeah. It could have just been a nepotism thing to have her be in the movie, but she is legitimately very good. And I think that's about it. I think we can move on to Cult and try to wrap this up. Cult came out in 2017. Again, written directed by Don Mancini. Again, starring.
I've heard good things about it. I've heard like this is like the best.
If we're still gonna do rankings, we can talk. If you want to hear my rankings
after all this, Brian, you have to do your.
After an hour and 17, you have to rank them.
I love them so much, guys. So anyway, we're following Nika into she's been in a institute for the criminally insane. She's getting moved into a like less, a minimum security, not minimum security, but like middle security facility. We meet some other kooks it's funny because Brad Dourif actually does have a line where he references Cuckoo's Nest in this, and it's like this obviously like is paying a little homage to Brad Dourif being in Cuckoo's Nest, and like there's some of that vibe to this, like the very white wall, the very white facility, very clean facility. Also a sharp contrast to like the leaky old mansion of the last movie, which is fun. I think there's a nice little dichotomy there.
If you never seen Cuckoo's Nest and go watch it, fucking weird to see young Danny DeVito.
Young
Super-
Danny
Oh,
DeVito and
she
super young
was in
Brad Dourif
Tenet.
too, like damn near a teenager Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif. It was Brad Dourif's first movie, and he won an Academy Award.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really good in that movie.
Think about that. First movie you won an Academy or
Also, fuck that Netflix movie, that series.
Oh,
It's like,
Ratchet?
what the
Yeah, I don't.
fuck
No,
are you
come on.
doing?
That's
I could be
that's
Spider-Man.
ridiculous. So anyway, of course, Chucky finds Nika in this institute for the criminally insane and begins to wreak havoc. Now, the focus of this movie, I would say the gimmick of this movie is that now we have once
Golden
again
Globe. Golden
upped
Globe.
the voodoo powers, and now Chucky can exist in multiple Chucky bodies at once. So we have the opportunity to have multiple Chuckies, including, which is one of my favorite things, Alex Vincent Andy has the original Chucky head in a safe, all blown, like, because he shot it with a shotgun, and it's, like, separated from the body. It's got nails in it. He, like, tortures it and stuff. But it's also kind of his friend. He talks to it. We see Andy out on a date, and he's trying to have a normal date, and then he figures out that the lady, like the girl, Googled him and like knows all this weird shit about him and stuff, and then he goes home to commiserate with his Chucky head. It's so fucking good. It's really great.
Brian I forget the movie. I only saw it once. Is Andy living in Chicago?
I don't know if they say where it's set. That's a good question.
They don't say.
Okay, I always thought with that date setting and this, like, it's like a city, like I always thought it was Chicago, like the original. Anyway, just a question.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm really gonna try and get through this one and wrap it up though. The idea being that not only does Chucky have now can possess multiple bodies, but he wants to possess Nika, and he does successfully possess Nika, which leads to an amazing performance of Fiona Dourif acting like Brad Dourif. We have like the long black jacket and the red scarf. She really like embodies Charles Lee Ray from the first movie. It's really cool. I really enjoy it. And then the movie, and I'm going to go loose with these ones since they're the ones less people have seen. But it ends with basically Andy trapped in the insane asylum after Charles Lee Ray has killed all these people, and him in Nika's body gets back with Tiffany and leaves, and basically like passes the buck on to Andy. And so from there, we're probably gonna have I don't know. We've already heard the voice of Andy in the Child's Play show, the Chucky show, so we know he's coming back. So we know that Don Mancini does not leave these threads hanging. He will tell us what happened. He will come back to it.
We know Andy comes back. We know Kyle comes back. We know
Kyle comes back at the end of this one. She has a stinger at the end of this movie too.
Yes.
Wait. I forgot about Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle from 2 comes back at the very end of this movie.
Fan favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, this is a really fun one. I really highly recommend it. Like I said, we'll do our rankings here in a minute. Best kills. There's a scene. Chucky does where he hits an O2 tank and it flies up through a glass ceiling. It's like an homage to a kill from Bride of Chucky, but also he improves on it slightly. I think it's better done in this one. It's more brutal. It's scarier. It's more. So I think I like it in Bride of Chucky too, but I waited to mention it as best kills because I think it's done slightly better in this one. Also, Andy setting up, sending a doll with the cut short hair to the facility, knowing that it will get brought to life, and then hiding a gun inside of it that he can then get later and use. Such a great, that's such a fucking cool idea. It's so, like, Don Mancini is a mad genius. I love where he has taken this franchise. I'm so excited to see more.
I feel like it's so fucking stupid what happened with the Child's Play movie. Because what you describe
down, man. Why are you trying to bring me down?
No, we have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because you're taking this baby, essentially like they ripped a baby out of his hands. They tried to, and we're so lucky. We're so lucky that Sci-Fi had the balls to be like, "Hey, come over. We're gonna keep making
They
shit.
could have even They could have done one or two things. They could have respected Don Mancini, or do your weird drone doll like
Yeah.
Could've
AI
been like a
movie about
Terminator
something
shit.
else.
Yeah,
Just
like a
don't
Terminator
each other.
shit.
Just do whatever. Like, why? It's so annoying.
Could you
Best
imagine?
And
lines.
they had to involve Puerto Rican princess Aubrey Plaza, and I almost hated her for
Aubrey
it, but it's
Plaza
like it's
playing
a
somebody's
paycheck.
mom is fucked up too. Aubrey Plaza should not be playing anybody's mom yet.
No,
Like, it's ridiculous. Best lines in this movie. Almost all the best lines come from when there are three Chucky dolls talking to each other, which is one of my favorite fucking things ever.
Yeah.
But he has the whole speech about people realizing that it's really like revealing himself right before he kills people, so that they have realized oh my gosh, it's been real this whole time. Like how much he enjoys that. Um, there's a whole thread where one of the Chucky dolls is one of the crazier women has like adopted one of the Chucky dolls and treats it like a real baby and breastfeeds it. And one of the other Chuckies later is like, "You got to suck titty today." Like, he wants to go kill Andy. They're all arguing over who's gonna go kill Andy, and he's like, "You got to suck titty today." So funny. And then the one who had his hair cut by Andy is like, "Look at my hair." And like, "Oh yeah, man, you're right. You should go." So funny. I love the callback to the like Chucky not wanting his hair cut. I love that. It's all really great. And I think that's pretty much it. I wrote some notes about the Chucky series. Let's just leave it at the fact that it's good. They have referenced Glenn. It's. I'm very excited
yeah,
to see
I saw it on Twitter.
much
He's
of
very
the
proud.
Twitter-
world they get into.
Twitter's going off about the Chucky series tonight, by the way.
Oh, I believe it. I haven't seen the new one, but I would suggest Jusef
wait,
before you
can I ask
if
a
you're going
question?
to watch the Chucky series, Jusef, I would say catch up on those other movies because he is such a slave to his own continuity. He will be bringing stuff back from that.
Oh, okay. Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
How are you guys watching it?
So far, they've posted the first couple episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Also, the NBC app. I think you can get on the NBC app and watch it.
What's the difference between NBC app and Peacock?
I think the NBC app.
I've been watching on Sci-Fi.
I'm not sure. I don't know. But if you have access to Sci-Fi, Sci-Fi
I
Channel or
I've
USA,
been watching the Sci-Fi app.
Sci-Fi app.
We could talk off the.
Okay. All
I
right.
have to run
Brian,
real quick
give
and
us
get
your
my
rate.
cord. because
No,
recording
wait.
My laptop is dying, so give me a
Oh,
minute,
okay.
and then everybody can start again. All right, my Child's Play rankings, official Child's Play rankings. Number 1 is Child's Play 2, then original Child's Play. This is hard for me, and I thought about it. I think I'm going to put Cult all the way up at number 3.
I love that.
Love
and
it.
Then I'm going to put number 3 at 4. I'm going to do Bride. Then I'm going to do Curse, and then Seed last.
Wow.
Would you eliminate any of them?
No. Like I said, I think Seed is the one that would be easiest to eliminate, but I don't want to eliminate it because I do want Glenn to come back. I think that's still a solid thing, and to lose that,
Glenn's coming.
I wanna say something out loud, and I feel like I've been holding it in for 3 years.
Okay.
I feel like you finally nutted over Child's Play. How about we take a break from talking about it, because I feel like every fucking episode you bring it up. All right, Joe.
Hey.
No, I'll never stop. By the way,
An hour and 30 was enough.
If you want to know, I won't stop.
Okay, so I got chosen Friday the 13th. Welcome to Flyover State of Fear. You just heard that intro.
Lock in,
blah, blah,
boys.
blah.
It's happening.
I'm just kidding. But I did Friday the 13th, and I just want
to Katie from Werewolf Ambulance. She's driving her numbers up.
Yeah.
Flyover State of Fear.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the show and my guests.
You're killing it.
Thank you for getting that. Anyway,
no. You're killing it.
Friday, thank you. Friday the 13th, I covered the I finally, so I don't know if anyone's been listening since the beginning. Like, this isn't the Lord of the Rings blind spot that I had, but this is a blind spot where I've always like started to try to watch the franchise. I've never gotten through. I've never finished. I don't have the affinity that I do for like Child's Play and Freddy. Like, um, and so this was my chance to finally watch it. Right, that's why I picked it. Right, I had my choice. 12 movies, did it all. And I really made sure, but I just want to, before we start, I really made sure I sat down and I watched every movie, like, intently, and I fucking took notes, and I did the thing. So, I'm just going to try to go through this as efficiently as I fucking can.
And I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Joe. You showcase your pictures of all your notes. And I fucking love that you went the opposite route of TJ. You actually committed to your franchise.
Buddy, I bought the whole collection. Thank
This
you.
is one that both me and Jusef are pretty familiar with, right? This is like,
I'm honest. I love this franchise.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. Even the ones that I consider the worst ones, I love. Like, there's no misses for me.
So I'm gonna get ready to disappoint you guys.
Oh, you've already disappointed me enough on Twitter.
By the way, I'm only drinking Halloween-themed alcohol, so I just poured myself a glass of pumpkin whiskey. It's the last.
I saw your nice frosty bottle. It looked really nice.
Is that dust or is that?
No, it's frosty. It's cold. It keeps it cold.
It's cold. I kept it cold so I could drink it.
Oh.
So anyway, we start. I'm just gonna dive right into this shit. We start with Friday the 13th, 1980. The movie is pitched without even a script or anything attached to it. It's just sold, which is so interesting. The background behind all these movies are almost sometimes more interesting than the actual fucking movie. But this is happening. It's Sean S. Cunningham, directed by. And
what was the pitch? Do you know what was the pitch?
It was just like the most frightening holiday.
Halloween made money. Let's do another holiday.
Yeah. Friday the 13th is made out of wanting to make money, which I respect.
Is actually, Joe, I don't know if you know this answer, but I guess I'm drunk enough to ask it. Is Friday the 13th like is this movie the reason why people fear or like ooh, is Friday the 13th? Or was it a thing before this movie?
It was already a thing because Sean S. Cunningham was like, I just need to pick a holiday, and then I can make a movie based off the holiday.
Okay.
He wanted to make money. He said, Halloween's a success. I do this.
Do you know the origins of what is Friday the 13th?
I just know it's like bad luck. I didn't really look into the origins of the actual holiday, to be honest with you.
Are you actively trying to make this episode longer? Is that what's happening here?
No, he's doing what I did to him.
I'm honestly asking a legit question.
No, I don't know. I didn't look into like Friday the 13th because that became a name after
I'll stop asking questions. Sorry.
No. In this movie, it's just a name, right?
Okay.
It's not bad luck.
It's literally just like, what's another spooky day? They already did Halloween. Boom, Friday the 13th.
Yeah. So, I always thought this was really cool because it's filmed in New Jersey, in Blairstown, and the town I grew up in. By the way, this is turned out to be not true, but I remember going to I've been to the lake as a kid camping. Lake? Well, just the lake, not the campground. But when you went there, there was like, they filmed Friday the 13th here, right? Not true. But it was like in the same lake area. So I thought that was really cool and blah blah blah. I remember literally being like 10 and sitting around a campfire and someone pulling out a Jason mask telling us this story. But it is Blairstown.
That happens in one of these movies.
It does.
It's 3.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Well, it's also in like 6 or 7 something, or like 5 or something.
They do it again. All right.
Yeah,
I believe it.
So anyway, the movie really the first movie really starts out with the beats of Halloween, and that continues for quite some time. It starts with a flashback you get a flashback of kids neglecting Jason in the 50s.
And then getting punished.
Yeah, getting punished. And any of you guys please inject, because I'm not going through 12 of these times. I'm just
You
going to
can't. You can't possibly.
I feel like it's
I mean,
enough.
the first one, the main thing is the twist, right? Like what
Yeah.
sells the first one is the twist.
No, wait.
Right?
Before the twist, I feel like it's enough to set the stage of who Jason is.
What's
his
the
ties
lore?
to
Why?
camp.
Yeah.
fair.
So this boy was murdered. This boy was neglected by his counselors, and he drowned.
Yeah.
While they were having sex. Flash forward, 30 years later, 20 years later?
It's
And they called it
15 or 20 years later.
It's
Something
like
like that.
10,
15 to 20.
The next year, I think what you're talking about, the scene you're talking about happens the next year where those kids get killed. Is supposed to be the year after Jason drowns. And then there's like a lull, and then we're at our main movie, which is like 15 years later or something like that.
And they call it Camp Blood. And the thing with Camp Blood is, this franchise, for at least the first 3 movies, want that name to catch on so bad it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think one of the underrated things about this movie, or about this franchise, is like that you don't notice until you've watched it a bunch of times, is the first 3 movies all take place in like the same 2 days. It's like a weekend. All those movies happen. Like in Halloween, they point it out to you, but like this one, I feel like it's kind of left behind.
Wait, TJ, come on. You're a fucking professional?
He's TikToking. So anyway, Brian, yeah, you're right. The first 3, that's why they keep calling it part, right? And they keep stick with the part.
I'm a huge fan of. I know you're gonna get to it, but I'm a huge fan of human Jason. I know it's controversial. I know that hockey Jason is the go-to, but the first 3, I'm a huge fan.
So, I would say, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So we have. Anyway, I'm literally reading my notes from the right of
this. Go ahead, baby. I mean, we're already in it deep.
Yeah. So campers come and they're going to reopen the park. That's the setup.
Hold on, not campers, counselors. In fact,
counselors. I'm sorry.
Never has campers until the 6th movie you were talking about.
Yeah,
there's never any fucking campers. That's why, this movie's always brought up as like a camp killer movie. No, Sleepaway Camp has campers.
Yeah,
these movies never have any fucking campers. It's always counselors.
It's all training.
Supercharged.
They're always training. How much training does it take to be a counselor? Don't molest the kids.
Clearly a lot, because they let a kid die.
So anyway, that shit happens, the death. Fast forward, they're going to reopen the camp finally. And they do an awesome decoy. I'm just by the spoilers, blah, blah, blah. They do an awesome decoy. This girl shows up. She's in town. You're following her. You're like, this is going to be our final girl. Like, that's what you think, right? By the way, I'm not going to say any names while talking about this whole series.
There's no names. Jason, and that's it.
And so you're following her. You're following her.
Jarvis, the only name you need to remember.
She gets picked. She gets picked up. You also have the don't go in there. You're gonna die.
The guy they parody in Cabin in the Woods. The scary
Every movie of this this Cabin in the Woods has this, and she gets picked up. Everyone fucking hitchhikes in these movies. I don't get it. Who hitchhikes?
It was a cultural thing in the 70s and 80s. Everybody hitchhiked. That's why serial killers were so fucking prominent back then.
So
yeah, it would be so easy. Just pick people up and then disappear them.
So you think she's gonna happen? You're intercutting with these other camp counselors. Boom! She fucking dies. She gets her throat slit. Shout out to Thompson.
I'm very worried that this is not gonna come off, and I'm not gonna be able to come into work tomorrow.
Sorry, with both the Hulk and the Thanos, I had that issue.
Shout out to Tom Savini, honestly being the GOAT of this movie.
Oh yeah. Well, because like you said, the thing is that this was trying to be a Halloween knockoff, and it is pretty by the numbers. The things that made this memorable were some of the gore effects, specifically Kevin Bacon getting stabbed through the neck and shit, and then the twist of that.
Joe, give us
Joe's mask gave away to us, but
Okay,
give us.
so I'm gonna fast forward in this movie
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
like a lot of these movies. Like the biggest fault of the first Friday the 13th is, unlike the others, it's overly too long. They didn't figure the pacing out. It has the
yeah.
score, it has everything, but its twist is everyone's being murdered. You don't see the murderer. It's a first cam view, but it ends up being Jason's mother, Pamela Voorhees, who I have portrayed.
Played by the amazing Betsy Palmer, fucking crushing.
Yes.
Which
And
brings a lot of questions in terms of her strength and mobility
at
and
least,
ability to hide bodies, but fuck it, I'm not gonna ask questions.
yeah, I think this whole franchise, like,
Don't
it's,
ask questions.
you don't ask questions.
It's not for that.
So
That's not for
so
this.
she they have their final girl. They have a fight. Once again, a little interlude if you watched that movies that made us. Tom Savini
I
was
haven't
like,
seen that one yet. The
Tom
Friday the 13th one.
Savini actually was like, this is how you fight, and it makes that ending much better. What I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. She slices Pamela's head off and dead. But the big twist also is, wait, there's more.
Wait, there's
Is
more.
and I actually love. I wish more of the franchise did this. Is they have this really calm music. She's on the boat, zooming in. It's very a peaceful scene, and then all of a sudden, Jason, but mentally disabled, physically Jason pops up.
They give you one
and
of those
attacks.
Carrie scares, like right at the very end. They
Yeah.
snap it.
But
It was
I feel like
stolen from Carrie.
can I ask this question, because that's literally the only question I'm gonna ask about all the Friday the
Sure.
13th, except when we get to Manhattan. Is that ending in her head, or it actually happened?
So I believe
Because
it actually happened.
the only reason I ask is because Jason, throughout the rest of the movies, he is very much a man, and that Jason that popped out of the lake is kind of like a preteen.
Yeah, I think that
So-
part kind of has to be in her head, really.
So it's
like,
in her. So
Yeah.
it's in her head, and then hold on. Moving right on to the second.
yes,
The best one.
yeah.
Moving right on to the second Jason.
Wait, give me your
I
best.
will say it's wild that
Oh.
this movie that basically got famous because of a cool twist and an interesting idea, then just the next movie was just like, well, just go do basic
Hold
bullshit,
on.
Michael
Jusef,
Myers shit, you know.
real quick, so I could read.
Best
just
kill.
so I could read. Best kill is, and I think it's still one of the better kills of the whole fucking franchise. It's Kevin Bacon
Yeah.
with the arrow through the back. It's still perfect. There's so much good stuff about it. By the way, Kevin Bacon is a standout in this movie, and actually the girl who gets picked up, I also think, is a standout in this movie. Shun can talk about in that regard.
Yeah, Final
And,
Girl kind of weak in this movie, honestly. Then
Yeah.
Final Girl in 2 is much better.
So then the next, my favorite, I think the best line is, it's you see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Yeah, her reveal,
Like, that's the best line.
today's his
It's also Crazy Ralph. I'm a messenger of God. You're doomed to stay here. Like, those are the two in that one, the best.
Yeah,
lines.
No, Betsy Palmer. You missed out on Betsy Palmer doing "Killer, Mommy, Killer."
Oh well, yeah. They
I feel
Like,
like
that's just showing her
Jason's
crazy.
mom is very underrated in terms of horror icons. I feel like she's very overshadowed by what Jason eventually becomes. This is this killer machine.
Mhm.
But her acting chops in this movie is like Psycho, you know?
Well, she was the most
Because they
accomplished
hired a
actress.
legitimate actress. Yeah, Betsy Palmer was like a real deal
Yeah, they
actress.
wanted fucking no, Ellen Burstyn in this shit, I think. Anyway,
That was in The Exorcist.
Jason 2.
anyway,
Electric
Jason,
Boogaloo.
Red 13 Part 2. I'll put the thing on to go through it. Be honest with you guys, this was like I know y'all love it. I thought I was gonna love this one. This one did not hit for me.
Ooh.
I like the look of Jason with the bag on his head. I understand he shows up. There's no explanation. One thing I actually really liked is I think they did a little better job at like sympathizing. Like a running thing for myself of this whole series is I don't care about the counselors, but not in the sense of I just want to see them dead. Like I think they're all pretty boring. One thing I liked about it is with two is like they showed them going to the bar in town, like having fun.
The girl who wants to get with wheelchair dude and is like aggressively getting
Yes.
she's one of my favorites. I love that.
Wheelchair dude.
Yes,
I
wheelchair dude.
love the girl aggressively going after wheelchair dude. That rocks.
As promised.
If wheelchair
I'm gonna
dude
take
is
this off
not your
this
favorite
podcast.
kill of this installment, you and I cannot be friends anymore.
What was the kill, Jusef? I'm sorry, my ear.
The wheelchair guy.
Wheelchair guy.
Yeah, he's the best kill. One of my favorite one of my things I have to mention is Harrison told me, wheelchair guy tragically passed away from AIDS.
That is sad.
That's Brian's son. He told
That's
us the
my
other
son
night.
knowing things like that.
And
He's
I
11,
told him,
guys.
A
I
human
told him
being that is in a chair because he cannot walk.
but really, my
Wheelchair
notes of this, guys, and I hate to say this, is that did not connect with me on this one. I thought it really would.
There's 12 movies. They can't all hit.
First of all, my note in every movie is about how horny everyone is. Sex is
Oh, they're
everywhere.
super horny.
Yeah.
I
feel like literally this movie is like these movies. This franchise is
the
so
whole franchise
like
is so horny.
well, and really like is
Very
why
tit-heavy.
horror in the 80s had that reputation of like like this is the movie that embodies it the most.
I think
Yeah,
this is the movie that
my only critique is maybe more male nudity just to balance it out, but it's very titty.
And nobody hangs dong
like
in these movies. That's
well,
for sure.
They should at one point.
Last time we actually talked about like this franchise is you guys both said I think Jason Lives is the only one that doesn't have nudity.
Yeah, there's no actual nudity in Jason Lives. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
which sucks.
So this is my one with the least notes. Every other movie I have notes galore. This one, literally a sex everywhere. I dig the baghead look. Still don't get the mythology at all.
You didn't like that Jason was like TJ's size, like just.
Hey.
What about the fact that our hero, the final girl, uses the R word to describe Jason?
It was like,
hey,
it's like TJ with the bag on.
So I don't even bring it up. Like that is like
it was like you didn't like that Jason was somebody that says he's 5'8", but he's truly 5'5".
I also really didn't
Jason's
like
Bumble profile says 5'8".
Fuck.
I also really like
I'm fucking tough.
I found Jason in this movie to be the most like human. Like he runs around more like he's more like Michael Myers. This, like I said, this movie just like it didn't connect with me. Like I like the ending enough.
Yeah, the end, the way the final girl kind of subverts Jason is cool.
Yeah,
like,
where she puts this sweater on and she's like, "It's me," like,
and then
like
Jason looks past her and catches a glimpse of his mom's head and is like, "No."
Yeah, and it's fun, but like, except for like the wheelchair death, really, which is up the stairs, really hard to do, or down the stairs, like. I didn't find much memorable kills. Which one I actually found out like a long thread through a lot of these is kills are implied for a lot of them. And then we'll get to movie.
I'm just so happy that I got to fucking burn TJ.
I'm fucking huge, dude. Shut
like
up.
These 3 hours I just worked.
Shut up. I'm big as fuck.
So another point of this movie, and I have this note in all these fucking movies, is the one thing I love throughout any of them, my least favorite and my favorite, body mazes is what I called them.
Sure.
the ending of the and what if to anyone still listening, the ending of the movies are just bodies flying. Oh, boom, boom! I found the bodies.
Popping out.
Kill. Boom, boom. So that is truly like I think so much fun in those
I
movies.
just imagine like and that happens in a lot of slashers, like them tying it up with like dental floss, like the bodies, and like if there's some slight movement, it just falls over. The body just falls over.
It's like I said, to me it truly does stand out. So the next one, part 3, and this is where
This is one I
feel
really enjoy, but a lot of people don't like. I feel like this is lower in the franchise. I feel like overall this one gets kind of relegated, but I like 3 a lot. I like Shelley. I stand by Shelley.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is like I said,
This is where he gets the iconic mask. That's right. We get the iconic mask in this one.
I fucking hate Shelley, but he serves a purpose. So I do love the intro.
Do you hate Shelley or do you hate the biker gang?
Yeah, man. Like Shelley's a hero. Stands up to the bikers and shit. He's just awkward, man.
TJ watched this movie, okay, Joe? You weren't prepared for that.
I wasn't. No, I have. By the way, like I said, I put all my rings on to record. No, I like the intros. By the way, of like the full recap of the last movie. I think that's a really neat way to go about these.
All of them have a recap.
Yeah, like a lot of them start with a recap.
When did they
first
stop
couple start with a recap?
They all do like a formal recap, but this was the one that like showed you the last like 5 minutes of the previous movie.
It's just like 10 minutes of the previous
movie. And then I think the fucking like vibe of the disco score in the intro is really fun. I think it's a real standout. Same with like the 3D. Well, the 3D makes the intro though look like Superman, which I thought was a really like, like the Superman from the 80s. Like it said the same. Yeah. Like I'm like I get it. I'm getting the Christopher Reeve's not.
I love all the like. I love seeing all the 3D gags. Not watching them in 3D, so it's like stuff you can tell was like the guy who's setting up the pole or whatever. And he's got like the pole in camera. It's like it's just like the end of a broom. It's like wow, what a great 3D shot this would have been. That people were super excited for that.
And it's something that I hated about the Final Destination 4, like the 4 sequence. Yeah. Where it's clearly for a 3D shot, but in this one it works for some fucking.
Well, it works, and this is the first movie, like theatrical movie, to use 3D.
Fun fact.
And so they really, really, really tried to make it work. And I didn't watch it in 3D, as I told Brian before we recorded. Someone asked me if I watched it in 3D because the special features, the special fucking edition I bought comes with a 3D thing. But doesn't give you the glasses, which is bullshit because you spend a lot of money on that thing.
No.
Anyway, yeah.
Literally have a factory. Where you at? Damn.
I literally have a note in here, saying Shelley sucks. But they also
that's a basic bitch opinion. Shelley's a hero.
But I also think it's hysterical that the scene with the weed is like Super Troopers. It's like ripped right out.
Where they eat the weed.
Or I shouldn't say ripped right out of it. Super Troopers ripped this shit right out of Friday the 13th. Like, it's hysterical to me. It reminded me so much of, like, these schnozberries taste like schnozberries. So, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going through my notes. This is what I was writing down. I like the gang, like, gets all murdered for like no reason at all. They just fucking get lit up. They
showed up on the property, man. They shouldn't have come into that barn.
Well,
should have better known better.
They swing around, but it's so out of place. But the same thing is all these movies except for the first one and for a while until with the later ones, they're under an hour and a half. Like it's fine. Just bodies, kill them. I don't give a shit. Still don't give a shit about any main character.
There's no characters.
No.
Shelley, that's the thing. Like, you shit on Shelley, but he's the only memorable character. He's the only person who like lives on past the movie. His persona.
So Shelley does do a very big service though to this movie. He introduces the mask. Shelley is a gag. Shelley has a box of gags, and one of them is this mask with other masks. Jason adopts this because of Shelley, so thank you, Shelley. But
we talked a little bit online about how weird the progression of Jason is and how long it kind of takes him to become the Jason everybody thinks about as Jason. He's not really that until like the 6th movie.
Well, it also is like odd. We have time, like we have.
Everybody thinks about zombie Jason.
Well,
right,
I think what's
like,
weird.
Shit, he doesn't even get to Hockey Mask till 3.
No, he gets Hockey Mask at 3, but I think also is what's weird is like Kane Hodder said, when asked about why does Jason look different in every movie, and it's like, well, it's different special effects. They want to do them like different each movie. That's weird because, you know, you look at the other horror guy, right? Like Freddy. They keep a big continuity for him in almost every movie. But Jason, they said, no, we don't want him wearing the full green. We want him in a jacket. Like it's
the only thing that does
choice.
Maintain is the Hockey Mask, the like size and shape of Jason and his body type, and like that shit varies wildly.
So
until you get to like 7, the Kane Hodder ones, you know.
I'm literally remembering this. These all blur together. I watched 2 a day. I fucking hated the guy who did the handstand. He deserved to die.
Fuck the guy was like walking on his hands or whatever.
Yeah, and you know what? It was a good part to die. It was one of the more classier nude scenes, like for her. But a good note I have here, and just a fun fact, and that's what I had in a lot of these, is Jason's actual hockey mask, though, was based off of 1950s Detroit Red Wings goalie. Very specific to a certain goalie who, like, I guess wore this type of like paint and shit. I thought that was neat. I have a note that says this Chris Reeves MFer better eat it. I love that.
That guy who's like the weird creep who's like, hey, we were close last summer. I'm gonna hump you the minute you walk in the door and shit.
Yeah, and I think the note here is, like I said, these movies blend together, and I've been drinking. I love that the Jason in this, though, that they give him a little sense of humor. He realizes his face and is like, it's me.
Yeah. He gives it. All right, give us your hit us up with your kills and your lines. What do you got? Anything good?
So actually, I love that you roll that out, because my last note is overall this movie was the tightest at the moment. I have 3. Wasted no time. I wanted to see every character get killed, and the ending reveals zombie Miss Voorhees, which I thought was so fucking cool. Of her jumping out of the water. That's actually what I was gonna do with that mask. I was gonna try to like paint it and do the zombie shit, but we're not here.
You don't love us.
I found the kills all actually pretty bland.
Yeah, there's not anything super memorable in this one.
I guess my favorite one I didn't know was the harpoon, just because it was like different, and like Jason using a weapon.
Yeah, it's rare that he uses a different weapon.
You know, my favorite line is more of a dialogue that's spoken. It's Chuck saying, "How come you never scream when we have sex?" And Chili says, "Give me something to scream about." Love that. I did find that movie a lot of. I did find the movie a lot of fun. So next we're going on chapter 4, the final chapter.
I would say one of the highest rated by the fans. Probably this is probably one of the top ones. Number 4.
So
which one is number 4, Joe?
Number 4 is the one where we introduced Tommy Doyle.
Oh,
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman's Tommy Doyle.
It's the first time they put the word "final" in the title of the franchise. They do it at least one more time.
Yeah, they were trying to close it out, and they were like, you know what? We got
They're
more.
like, but it still makes money, so nope.
So
we're not
a note like every movie has, and they were like, yeah, the producers kept telling us this is the last one. So this movie, it is where it gets a little more goof, right? Like there's a little, but not goofy enough. Like I'd rank this the same as 3. Like literally, like I think I gave them a point differential. I was happy it didn't start in the camp. I thought it was fucking weird. They tried having sex in the morgue when they brought Jason. Like they brought them to the fucking morgue. Like it was just
this
so
one
much.
is pretty horny of the
Like
4.
this is so
the first
horny.
4.
But the morgue scene was so good because you get the Jason twisting in the neck, fully twisted around, felt great. Literally have a note here saying, "Hey, a Corey," and he had made a mask.
Yeah, yeah. I had to tell Harrison. I had to have that conversation with Harrison and be like, "They don't show you. Those are just like some Tom." He was like, "I want to make masks like that." I was like, "Those are like some Tom Savini masks that he has put in the movie."
Yeah.
Corey Feldman, a child, did not make those masks.
Yeah. So Tom Savini is literally, or Tommy is named after Tom Savini, and most of my notes of that are. Can't make that. Like when I was a kid at that age, I wanted to be a costume designer and make masks. You can't make that shit at that age.
No, you need like a latex workshop to do shit like that.
One note of my own personal, like I guess, feedback on this is the hippie hitchhiker that's eating a banana, that eats it. She gets her throat slit. Like they pass her.
Yeah.
I
The
thought it
one
was
who's
really
got
neat.
the sign that she spins it around that says like "fuck you" or whatever. That
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, then she immediately eats it like they were just trying to get kills in. I love her, but she plays it's a special part of my childhood that has nothing to do with Friday the 13th. She is a comedic relief in the special Keenan and Kel, Two Heads Are Better Than None.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool Halloween or horror special that features a shit ton of horror like icons in it. Because Ken Foree is Keenan's dad in Keenan and Kel.
Oh, nice.
And then the dude from The Hills Have Eyes play, or the tall ass dude with the little deformed head.
Yeah, Michael Barrymore, yeah.
Yes, thank you. He plays that. I love
Berryman,
that thing.
sorry,
recall.
But I recognized her immediately, and she was a lot younger. And I'm like, that's the woman that asks for ketchup all the time in Keenan and Kel.
So this is the number 1 movie because I made that connection. This is the best one.
Yeah. But just so much sex, so much fucking sex. I also hate it.
Yeah, this one's really horny.
It's really horny. I do have a note here, and I do want to speak on it for a minute. Speaking of being horny, I did love Corey Feldman's sister. What's her name? Trish.
Yeah.
Trish. Oh, one of the better Final Girls.
Yeah, she's good.
But I hate how he was like a car expert. What the fuck are you doing? I also at the same time though, the guy shows up. I do like that there was like a Jason Hunter like aspect to this. I always liked that in this series.
Yeah, his sister's supposed to be one of the girls who dies in 2.
Yes, he's looking for him, and it kind of comes back in the remake.
Yeah, they bring that idea back for the remake. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good idea for Jason. Like I do. I think it gives a terrible.
Well, and then Tommy kind of becomes that in the next couple movies too. Like Tommy Doyle becomes your like final girl basically of the next couple movies.
Yeah, I hate that character, except for in this movie.
Yeah, when he's Corey Feldman, he's pretty good. I agree.
He's like the ending. It's creepy. He's shaving
Although
his head.
in 5, when that dude tries to get tough with him at the halfway house and he like flips him through a table, that's pretty dope.
Well, I think yeah.
It really backed out of that Tommy Doyle.
I'm glad they did.
Head.
I didn't like how like I don't know. I just didn't. I just don't like. I just don't like him. I think he's a whiny character who's looking for shit.
I mean, it's kind of like what
This
they
one's
they
not
tried to do
necessarily
with
at a camp, right? This one's the one where it's Tommy Doyle's family house, and then like their neighbor's house gets rented out by like some kids having a party or something, right? Yeah.
That's all that. This is the one.
Again, a bunch of nameless ass characters you ain't gonna remember tomorrow. Like they don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm not.
Aside from Tommy Doyle, he's the only. Everybody else is fought.
This introduces Tommy Doyle. It does have I do got to shout out to Crispin Glover, which also is a fucking terrible character, but he's a
Ted,
standout.
where's the corkscrew?
And I do have a note here saying Crispin Glover. It's when he's dancing is me at every wedding, as you guys saw.
Fair.
I'm a good dancer. If anybody saw me dancing on Joe's wedding.
With Joe's
I do love that they have these twins show up and they're just like down to fuck for some reason. Like
it's like somebody
movie,
saw a
just everyone's
Doublemint
so
ad and
down
was
to
like,
fuck.
"What if they were hornier?"
Like, but once again, marathon of kills, leaving Trish the final girl. Like, I like Trish as the final girl. It is a surprise in the movie because she's for the most part put as a side character.
Can I hit pause real quick?
All right, so that shit happens. At this moment in my notes, Trish might be my favorite final girl, but like I'll be honest with you, don't remember a minute about any of it again.
I mean, to be fair to Joe, it is a lot to ask for first time viewer to review 12 movies.
So I don't know if I've insight yet or not, but I don't think I have. Is the Friday 13th always were something I just like watched like haphazardly, like growing up on like AMC Fear Fest, and I was like, oh, that's neat, and like moved on or like heard someone talk about. So like these are all first watches for the most part, except like the first one.
This is definitely the first time
TJ,
we've tried to
what
do
the
this
fuck,
many
man?
movies.
Yes.
Fucking silent.
Yeah. So all right, next, movie 5. I'm not even gonna spend on time on this. I thought this was the worst fucking movie in the franchise.
Which
I
one
This is
fucking hate
bullshit.
it.
This is bullshit fake out, Jason.
Well, it's not even that. I didn't even think it was the bullshit fake out chasing. It was boring, and they're all kind of boring. I think at this point they're all fucking.
You are not giving enough credit to the girl doing the robot dance in this one.
Okay, it's one scene. Like I think that. Oh, well, hold on. In 4, the face smush head twist is the best. And I just love Jason throwing bodies through windows. That's like
I like 4's one where Jason's actual death is great too, where he falls on the machete and his head like slides down the machete. That's good.
Yes, that is good. I forgot to know a lot of like the actual Jason deaths because I was like just thinking of like kill, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't have a line.
That's
I guess it would be the Crispin Glover just rambling off a bunch of curses. But the one thing I fucking hated about Crispin Glover in that is that they're like, you dead fuck, all this thing, like you can't blah blah blah. And then he hooks up with that babe and he's just like, was I a dead fuck? Like it's so unnatural, like it's not how someone would talk. I just hated it. And then he runs downstairs.
I do like we didn't talk about I do like the way Tommy like comes down dressed as Jason, distracts Jason. That's fun.
Yeah, no. The ending of 4 is really good with Tommy. Like I like that of like he's clearly having an episode. Like I think it's interesting. A New Beginning. I hate it. I don't need we don't need to go over it. I'm just gonna skip it. I think it's shit.
It really doesn't affect the movies very much, except that it does have that Jamie Lloyd at the end of Halloween 4 thing where you think that Tommy Doyle might become the new Jason, but they just abandon that.
They don't. They just get rid of it. Favorite kill of that though is the tree rope crushing.
Oh yeah, sure.
And
where like he turns the thing right and it squeezes its head.
Yeah, that's the best kill. And then the line, there's two lines actually I love. You dumb dildo. And Orlando Jones says it's them damn enchiladas, which is not Orlando Jones, but if you're listening to Flyover for
It's
long enough,
actually Joanna Man this time.
it is Joanna Man. It's Miguel Nunez.
Damn enchiladas.
And honestly, Reggie and Miguel Nunez and his girlfriend should just fucking have the whole. They should have their whole.
The movie should have just been
with
about them. I love
'Cause
the
they
way
were-
Reggie just like straight up is like, "This is my girl." It's like that's
Yeah.
the like woman who runs your foster home. What are you talking about?
Like they were like I said, they it. I didn't like the movie, but not because of the Jason cop out. I just truly didn't like the movie.
No, that's fair. That's fair. This one is the grossest sex one though because it was directed by an actual porn director, so it's like the most gratuitous one.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah,
five's like the most gratuitous one, which is why like when in 6 when there's no sex and nudity in it, it really like feels like a shift.
So 6, I think it's the best one.
It's up there. People love it.
You'll
This
hear
is
my
probably the
rankings
first
at the-
one I ever saw. This one of the first ones.
I'm really trying, guys. By the way, I'm really trying to make my way through these.
No, you're doing.
I love the Bond intro. I fucking as you guys always. I hate the Tommy stuff. I do not like. I like the.
I like Tommy
I like-
accidentally bringing Jason back to life. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fucking
Getting
like why.
killed?
Well, like I literally am writing notes on this of like why is he digging up the the corpse, and then I understand like it's a dream, blah blah blah. But and then all at the same time, who paid for these graves? Who's paying for a Jason
Right,
grave?
who's burying Jason?
Like, sorry, I thought it was hysterical that they changed the name of the town to Forest Green.
Do a little rebranding on that.
Yeah, I actually I didn't note about the no nudity change early on. I actually think that's kind of a nice twist on this. And then after watching Camp Crystal Lake Memories, this was when they got to this movie in section. This was the one director at the time since the first one who actually seemed like he like wanted to establish a mythology and like care about the movies instead of just being a director for hire. Which is super neat. Love the killing of the 3 paintballers. I think that is so fucking like it was so smooth. Like it's such a like an out there scene.
I feel like the idea of that like corporate retreat paintballing thing was new still too. Like I think that was something that got run into the ground. Like lots of shows and movies kind of touched on that later, but I feel like that was a pretty new thing when this movie came out.
And we actually, for the first time, 2 things happen. We see Jason shown as an urban legend, told like this thing's gonna be out there. And then we see kids at camp.
Yeah, this is the only one where kids are actually at the camp.
And I think it really matters because the kids actually at camp pull such a good point of this movie. This movie does a great job of balancing a tensity, like very tenseness to a comedy.
The one kid has my favorite line where he's like, "What were you gonna be when you grow up?" So, what were you gonna be when you grew up? That's one of my favorite lines.
I love that. I really love the aspect of Jason not wanting to kill kids because he sees himself in them being neglected by the counselor.
Yeah, the one girl praying, like these are like she's doing a prayer and like very scared, and like Jason doesn't come for her, and it's a really tense scene.
Yeah.
And the thing with Tommy is he completely changes in this movie. Like it's a completely
he's not very much like the kid in 5 at all.
Or he's like witty and he's like fucking with like the cops. Like it's weird. It is a weird departure. Like when he's in the jail cell and he like does the fake out. Like I don't. But yeah, I think this is the smartest one of the franchise. I'm just trying to run. Like I said, I'm just trying to run through it.
Burn a couple off here. You can just, you know what? Give us a bare bones plot. Hit us with your favorite kill line, and we can move through. That's what I was trying to do. I was like, I had so many notes, and I was like, you can't read all this shit. You gotta move.
But really though, this is I think this is the most entertaining Jason fight at the end. I love that. Like, is this the one in the barn?
No, that's 3. 3 is the barn, right?
Oh, sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry. I wrote this has really like similar like Freddy vs. Jason vibes with like
wake up.
The boyfriend and the killer. Sorry, I'm not entertaining Jusef. It's been a long night. I get it. But as I write so far, this is my favorite out of 6. I think it's paced perfectly. I think it's perfectly timed. I think the kills are really fun. So my favorite is the body snap of the sheriff. It's my favorite kill in this movie. Just
chucks him off to the side.
Yeah, and throws him. Favorite line. Wearing as earrings. So what were you going to be when you grew up?
That's fine. I love that line. That's
wearing
so funny.
earrings. What were you going to be growing as up? Such a good line. Next one is New Blood. I'm not even going to read my notes on this. This is just Jason versus Carrie. So fun. I think it's one of the more fun ones, and as you guys know, I love when this shit gets off the rails.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be off the rails, but with a purpose off the rails, not just dumb.
It's got Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
That's one of my notes. Is literally like Weekend at Bernie's is like the
he's
asshole
like the psychiatrist or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. He uses the mom as a human shield at one point. It's so fucked up.
It's so funny too because like I actually really like Tina. I think Tina's like one of the best protagonists of this whole franchise. She might be the best protagonist of the whole franchise. But she drops a beer on a carpet and it just shatters and it makes no sense. So
I like when the really bitchy girl gets killed. Like, she answers the door and Jason just buries a hatchet and then just, like, chucks her across the room. She's, like, the last kill before the final fight, and it's so funny.
You know what's crazy about that woman? Like I said, I watched Camp Crystal Lake doc, and she was, like, apparently they thought she died, this woman.
Really?
Like, in real life. Like, no one knows
they thought the actress was dead.
So they were like, she passed untimely because they saw an obituary. But it's disputed. No one knows if she's alive or dead today.
Wow.
I just thought it was so weird.
Just hiding out.
There's truly no answer on it. There's like a random like Facebook like fan account being like, no, she's alive. Like, no one knows. I hated at that party though. That party was a big part for me. That house party. Because a big thing about these movies is no one's actually friends. No one ever gets fucking along. I hate it. But the guy who's like, I thought we were all supposed to bring our own food. I hate him. Just buy food for the party. Yeah, I love the design of Jason in this. I know this is Kane Hodder's first Jason.
Definitely the best practical Jason effects in the way he looks and stuff.
And you see all the skeletons and all of this. And by the way, like,
Jason's you can see his spine and shoulder blades coming out and stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah, and so far you've seen Jason, like, I think look good in all the movies. They all serve a different purpose. It's a little odd, and then Kane Hodder started to own it in 7. This is just straight
Jason actual mannerisms that he had never had before and stuff.
Yeah, this is just straight Carrie versus Jason. I love the supernatural of it.
It was a great direction to take the franchise. I wish we would have got more stuff like that. Like,
so that was
a good idea. Like, 7 movies in, get weird, right? Like,
yeah, So this best
fair,
kill and the best kill in this, I didn't write down a favorite line, is the sleeping bag kill where he fucking bashes the girl with the sleeping bag.
Iconic.
Best kill. I feel like they took a lot of notes from Dream Warriors on this movie, just with using the supernatural because it came out like 2 years after Dream Warriors. So I think there's probably some play there, which is all good. Yeah, there's some goofy shit in this movie. Like apparently this is one of the movies everyone wants to see, like with the director's cut, but it will never happen because of also the footage.
Yeah, they chopped all. You can tell if you're watching it, like they chopped a lot of gore out of it and stuff. Like all the, everything's pretty PG-13 in this one.
So like the stuff with the dad, the dead dad, the drunk dead dad in this movie who does not deserve a redemption. He doesn't at all.
No, he's a big piece of shit and he beats the mom and whatever.
But they give him one. I think that's fucking weird. That's a little out there, but I do think this is more of the fun this is more of a fun movie. I highly recommend. I think Tina's a really good heroine.
Joe takes Manhattan.
Anyway, we're on to Takes Manhattan. This movie is fake exciting. This movie is fake exciting because it's actually pretty fucking boring. Jason is revived by.
I feel like this one starts to get too long too. Isn't this one feels long to me?
Oh, this one for some reason decides to be an hour and 40 minutes. My first note, Brian, is how is this an hour 40 minutes?
An hour 40 minutes with 12 of those minutes of being action.
How is this episode 3 hours?
Because we decided to talk about.
Because you had to talk about Phantasm.
All right. Well,
come on. What is there to say about Jason Takes Manhattan? Punch at the boxing guy.
There's the boxing guy.
The girl who gets killed with the flying V guitar.
I just love how fake New York looks. Like most of the sequences outside of him walking in Times Square, all of them look like clearly it's a fucking set and it's not New York. It's like you made no effort to film in New York.
I just like my quick notes. Also, was Rennie a reference to Rennie Harlan? That's another thing because there was another character named fucking Cunningham or Sean. Like I thought they were naming them for horror directors. But there's a dog. The dog's cute.
Important note: cute dog.
Yeah, I'm just running through these now. There's a dickhead. I guess he's the principal, and he's the worst character. And for some reason, we don't see him get like fucked up as we should. It's really disappointing. As Jusef said, there's a great moment of the head punch out, but that's really the highlight of this movie and him in Manhattan.
And for some reason, Jace Sewage turns Jason back into a little kid at the end. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that.
That is the one question. So I had a question about, is it a dream sequence when he pops out and he's like a teenager in the first one. This is the second question that I had. I've always had this question. I remember watching it as a kid and then watching it as an adult multiple times. It's like, what are they trying to say with this sewage sequence? That this Jason was this like entity projection, and
I feel like this aspect is used better in the Freddy vs. Jason, right? Where we get the kind of childlike Jason again.
That was much better used because they actually played in and they were like, he's afraid of this, and so he's killed.
Freddy died from fire, Jason from water. How can we use that?
But then at the same time, this movie is already established that Jason's a zombie, so it's very confusing that he also acts as like a hero when the main girl gets fucking shot up with heroin and then borderline raped and he saves her. It makes no... Like, I'm sorry, I'm glad he saved her because that scene made no sense in this movie. But Jason, in the timeline of this, should not be picking and choosing what he's doing. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Same thing.
Just hit the highlights for us, Joe.
Final girl happens. Head punch. My favorite line was, "This is top dollar too." That horny ass girl was ready to just me too that guy, but
she was trying to trap his ass.
So the next movie, the franchise is really falling on a low note. But somehow this is my most notes here. I'm actually just gonna skip through most of it. Is Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Goes to Hell should be great. I just want to say this before we start.
I can see why you would have a lot of notes because it's so fucking weird and off the rails. Like, you had to write down a lot of shit.
Yeah, it should be great. Jason is now, so they wrote a comic in between to fill the gap. Apparently Jason murdered a bunch of people in New York. The FBI got a hold of him. And that's where we lead off. And
gets his meatball head blowed up. I do love the opening. Jason Goes to Hell has a great opening. It really is fun.
Brian, this is why I say this should be a good movie. I have a note here. She's wearing a Mets hat. I said, let's go Mets. One of my notes is, let's go Mets. Because the
Mets hat is not what made it great, Joe.
But they fucking blow him up. They do this. And then I absolutely love that corner. He eats his brain because they saved the brain for him to, I guess.
It's the heart. Eats the heart.
Oh, I'm sorry, the heart. I always thought it was brain.
It's gross, whatever it is. It sure is gross as fuck.
Yeah, actually, the actual actor almost puked. Almost got very sick from that.
Yeah, I bet. It's great.
Yeah. So.
This is like a weird body switching movie. It's weird what they try to do with this one. It's not good. So I used to think Manhattan was the worst, but this is probably actually legitimately the worst one.
So it's straight up a body switching movie. Like, Jason just keeps going into new body. They introduce some really, really, really weird lore where they tie it to the Evil Dead franchise, where they say Jason's mother summoned the Necronomicon to bring him to life again.
There's a magic sword.
There's a magic sword, and that Jason could only be killed by a family member. But
I legit forgot about this sequence, honestly.
Yeah, we're finding out that there's a family member. Like I said, I do love the corner. I also think the bounty hunter chasing, who gives us this plot exposition, is really fun because he has a fun name, Creighton Duke. But I mean, like, the highlight of.
I always thought Creighton Duke was also the guy who shows up at the end of Demon Knight, but it's not. It's a different dude.
This is really, like, this episode of Flyover State of Film. This is a really drawn out movie, where the ending is worth the punch, at least. Where they like kind of get him hooked, and then, like, Jason comes out of the body as like a heart demon thing and, like, runs away, and I'm like, that's fun. It doesn't make sense in the scheme of Jason, but that's fun. It fucking ends with the stabbing, and then it has a teaser for the Freddy glove.
Freddy glove, and then we don't get that because we go to space instead.
We go to space. And space, I think, is really deceiving. I remember space being a ton of fun. Space, hold on. What's my favorite kill? Oh, the tent woman cut in half.
Oh, yeah.
Also the line, shrink my pod, blow me, chief.
Wait. Let's go back to what you just said. You're saying that Jason X is not good?
No. I forgot. I always keep forgetting. In Jason Goes to Hell, the standout scene for me is the woman in the tent that gets cut in half. Like, it's generally a good scene. It's a fun time. They like fuck around the camp. For some reason, they're trying to hitchhike there, though, which makes no sense. And there's a third wheel shit going on. It makes no sense. Anyway, we're on to Jason X. Jason X takes place in 2010. At this time, Jason has been running rampant, and they finally decide we can't kill him, so we're going to cryo freeze him. But a woman
Smart.
dies with him. And then we pick up in the year 2455. Jason X.
Okay.
Jason X features a lot of fun ideas. Like him like it's the most camp I think of any movie featured, right?
Oh yeah, it fully is the one that leans the hardest into like. Let's just
What
be
year does
ridiculous.
iRobot take place?
I don't know, guys. I really gotta pee. I'm trying to run through these. I don't know what year, but TJ, I don't know what year iRobot takes place, but
We can
Go
knock these
pee.
ones out in 5 minutes. Jason X
I
is
real-
fun. Freddy vs.
Go
Jason
pee.
is no good, and the
Alright.
remake is good. Boom, we're done.
I really want to talk about the remake. So anyway, Jason X is basically just a ripoff of Alien. They stole the exact template for template. I mean, the fucking pilot has a cowboy hat. It can't be more than that. I have a note in here that says, "What if Danny DeVito got frozen instead of Jason?" That would have been funny. But this movie is the best in space slasher you'll watch, and it's not saying much. But this features the sure, I'll pee in a bottle. This features the
Wait, when did
best
this movie come out, Joe?
2000.
When did Buster Rhymes fight
2000.
Michael Myers?
97, 98, I think.
No, Resurrection's like 2001.
Is it?
So this is pre-Resurrection. So because this movie features a robot just kung fuing the shit out of Jason.
Oh well, there's some Matrix. There's some Matrix influence here with the robot.
Because Halloween then rips off this movie if it's post Jason X.
I'm not
Okay.
sure which came first, if I can be honest.
I thought Resurrection. Hold on, I thought Resurrection came out. I really gotta pee.
I mean, we can take a pause, Joe. We can take a pause and go pee.
No, force Joe to wrap it up instead. Don't let him pause. Make him go faster instead.
I mean, I'll probably go through.
He's gonna piss.
Joe,
Going
just take a pause. Take a pause, Joe. I'm not gonna
man.
include this in the.
No, we're going with him now.
So Jason. Oh shit! Where are we? Where is the?
That's a nice.
I've been in that bathroom before. Oh, that's a bad angle.
All right, we're back. I don't know where you left off. I don't
know
know
Jason X.
Jason X. Let's just move on. Jason X happened. Let's just go straight into Freddy vs. Jason now.
Yeah. So Jason X features the best kill, with the head snap. It's the best kill of the whole series. MythBusters covered it, which is really cool. I think
Definitely was in our bracket. Yep.
Yeah,
it was in our bracket.
I think the movie is fun, but
it wasn't our bracket.
We forced TJ to do it.
So Freddy vs. Jason, is one of my favorite movies. I think I've told this story plenty of times on plenty of podcasts, but I have a vivid early childhood memory of Freddy vs. Jason. In the theaters with my friend to go see it, and it was one of the first movies like that made me fall in love with horror movies. But in the movie theater, I remember seeing it, and we walk. It was the scene of the girl from Ginger Snap showering, and you see her boobs, and and it's like a midday showing.
Catherine Isabel. If we're gonna cut, give her some respect.
Okay.
It's
human being. This is a female.
Yeah, it's a midday showing. And there's like 5 people in the theater. This is important. Anyway, me and a friend are watching the movie. We're like, oh, it's so fun. And all of a sudden, this woman with her son, who may have been 8 years old, is holding his eyes running out of the movie theater, and I will never forget that image. But I always found this movie great. I'm just gonna keep it short in this movie. This movie to me is I rewatch it so much. It's not only nostalgic. I think it's really really fun. I don't know if it
definitely pays off its premise. Like it definitely knows what it is.
They have a fight. It's more of a Freddy movie. It's definitely more of a Freddy movie. I don't think it's more of a Jason movie. They make Jason a sympathetic character. If you want to go into like the background of it, like I don't know, Kane Hodder's a little annoying with it about how he wasn't allowed to be Jason for this movie, but like he's about the same height as Robert Englund, so I think that had a lot to do with it. Not even that he was asked. So anyway, I love Freddy vs. Jason. I don't even want to go beef for Freddy vs. Jason. I think it's just a really fun movie. I think there's a lot. I think the one problematic thing in the movie, though, and I have to mention it because on this watch, would you say her name was Catherine?
Catherine Isabel.
Catherine Isabel's death. I don't think she should have been being raped at that time. I think that was really uncalled for because it was just some random rave guy, even though he got his comeuppance. She already did enough to get her comeuppance. It's really uncalled for. That's the true standout thing that should be taken out of the movie. Other than that, I find the movie really fun.
Shout out John
the fight at the end. The fight at the end is incredible. Like the actual fight of Freddy vs. Jason is so good.
Freddy hitting off the CO2 tanks to let them fly or whatever they're supposed to be. Yeah. It's such a fun movie that I get like angry when people don't like it because they think it's bad, but I'm like, the point isn't for you to judge it like you're watching Dune, you know? Like the point, like, and I know that's a very like, oh, don't say that. The point is just like have fun with this movie. It is a good amalgamation of slashers. The director Ronnie Yu, who directed Bride of Chucky, he did a great job melding the two franchises together. And really, it sits, I think, out of continuity with any of the. It shouldn't sit in the continuity with Jason. So Jason does have a great kill though with the Silent Bob character saying, "This Everclear is kicking my ass."
Well, hey there, Jethro.
Yeah, that's and yeah, that is really where Jason shines. I'm only going to talk about Jason right now of this. In that movie is in the cornfield. Hey there, Jethro, and like, I do love the guy going to talk to his dad, and the fucking head falls off because Jason slashed it off. All right, so let's move on. I love that movie. Last night I watched the remake. And I watched the Killer Cut, which is about 20 minutes longer, like this episode of Flyover Film.
No, this is a wild one.
This is a wild one. I'm really sorry. I really like this remake. After watching the whole franchise, this remake stood out to me as being like, not just because it looks modern. I thought it was fun. I love how I get the intro of the original, like kind of like this, but they do a thing where like, you know, Jason was watching. He wasn't really dead. His mom was crazy. Great. There's some dumb shit in this. Don't get me wrong.
I like that we get the mom, we get Sackhead, and we get Hockey Mask. They like move through all basically like a remake of the first three.
Like I did today, and like Sackhead also sometimes looks like body wrap. It's great. And you get this great 25-minute intro. Yeah. There's some Michael Bay-isms in this movie. Like you could tell he had a producing hand where he was just like more gratuitous, more this, more that. But whatever. I think they made a really fun movie. I think this is first Friday the 13th movie that I actually like cared is the wrong word, but like wanted to watch all of the characters on screen. Or most of them. Like although it's funny because my first note is I'm a fan of Daniel Panabaker because I saw her in the credits. She's the most forgettable character, but I do like that actress.
She's kind of the final. I like the opening scene with the guys looking for the kids looking for the pot.
The opening scene's great.
That's really good.
The guy from Superstore.
And they got the girl. They got him. They got the girl when they have the girl in the sleep make roasting over the fire. That's a really good one.
I'll just say it now. That's my favorite kill of the whole movie. I think.
Oh,
that's
I'm sorry,
so
I spoiled it. That was not my intention.
No, don't spoil it. It's so long. I just think this movie is really fun, and I think the movie really plays with a lot of the dynamics of kills in a really fun way. Like, I know it's a little gratuitous, even like the hatchet when the girl's in the boat through her head, and then like you kind of see the titties bounce out, and then he puts her down. Like, to me, like that's really fun. Like that's just a really fun scene. Like it kind of has a tongue in cheek quality. I did think that scene in itself was brutal. Like I didn't like seeing her get hit with a boat. I like that Jason just standing there with an arrow and hits him in the eye.
Yeah.
I'm jumping around here, but what I like about that, what I heard about that scene though, it was supposed to be a lot more creepy. Apparently, Jason was just supposed to stand there the whole time until she didn't come to shore.
Oh, like just waiting around on her to see.
Yeah, apparently when she looks up, there was a whole different scene written that he puts a machete in the ground to intimidate her, and she just swims around till she drowns, and then he picks it up when she's dead, and it's like night out, which is fucking brutal, and I wish that was in the movie. It's the same director as the Texas Chainsaw remake, which is really cool.
Which I also think is one of the better remakes, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, this, I like how he gets to find his mask, and like you get the only time you get the which is fun, right? Is when the mask. Like, it's a nice thing. It's just a really fun remake. I keep running through it. I almost think it does a disservice by giving it the fake out ending that every Friday does. But I do like that they borrowed from all the Fridays and made it work. My only note is that they treat New Jersey like it's the Deep South. Even the Hicks aren't that like Deep Southness.
I don't know. We were in Seaside and we saw some Deep South stuff.
Well, I just meant the way I mean the way they talk.
I saw a lot of patches, very questionable patches on leather vests.
Oh, you're right. I think in this movie particularly,
I'm just gonna say this out loud. I don't like this remake. I know that people have been being very positive. I don't like.
Well, you're gonna hate my rankings.
You're not a fan. Not a fan of this one, huh? What don't you like about it?
Yeah, what don't you like about it?
It felt very 2000. It felt very glossy. It lost a lot of the camp value. It felt very nitpicky in terms of selecting sequences and moments, kind of like the Halloween shit. It was fine, I guess, but it felt like it was just gliding off the back of the 11 or 10 movies that got it there.
I feel like if you're really connected to the old ones, I can understand that. You know what I mean? Which I am also.
So, as a new watcher, right, or of that, it just held my attention the most.
I just giving a different.
No, that's your opinion. I get it. So anyway, I don't love how literal sometimes they got with Jason. I just give that like critique of it. Like I thought the maze tunnel was cool, but at the same time, like He was more. He was just. This is the most human you'll ever see Jason. This is the most like Halloween you'll ever see. Michael Myers you'll ever see Jason. But I think it's a good start, and it's a bummer we never got a follow up to this.
Is it?
So I'm just gonna go into my ratings phase because this has been running.
Ratings? Oh wait,
Rating.
no wait. This is
Oh,
not.
no, we don't rating them. We're ranking them. The ranking.
I mean, like
phase.
I love hanging out with you
Rankings.
guys. This is the longest we've ever recorded.
I love my
So
boys. I want to be with my boys.
So the first is, and as you guys know, you all saw on Twitter, I did detail this shit out. I did give it legitimate rankings. I gave it enjoyable rankings, and I narrowed it down. So the first is Friday the 13th, Jason Lives. I gave it an 8.5, and I gave everything a ranking on slasher. I did not give it a ranking on like movie. Of what I enjoy, I should say. I didn't give it a ranking on, like, if I'm going to rank fucking Tenet. Second is the remake
Number two.
at 8.4. I told you, you all hate my rankings.
I don't mind. It's fine.
Third, it's full nostalgia. It's tied with 2. It is Freddy vs. Jason. It's 8.4. It's just what I love. 4 is New Blood, 8.3. I love that fucking weird telekinetic shit. 5 is the original Friday the 13th with an 8. I gave it. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which is the 4th movie, I gave it a 7.8. At 6, at 7, I gave part.
I like that you have numbers.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
at 7, I gave part 3, a 7.7. Friday the 13th, part 2, I gave a 7.4. Then we go to Jason X, which I was a little bummed to give it this low, but as rewatch is 6.8. I just thought it dragged too much. Then we go to Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, 5.7. And then we really drop in numbers, guys. We go for Jason Takes Manhattan, 3.5. And Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, a 2.5. So that's my ranking of the 12 Jasons.
God bless anybody who watched all of this.
Nobody did.
Where can
Nobody
you find
No one did.
where this is.
Well, maybe if you break it, like you said, if you break it up.
Nobody watched this, but it is for us. I love you guys. This was
I
fun.
don't even want this on fear.
I painted myself blue for you 3. It was for nobody else.
I don't regret it, but I do agree. Maybe 12 is too big of a franchise. Maybe we'll keep it to between 4 and 8.
Brian, you took an hour and 40 minutes to discuss 8 movies. So I don't know.
I'm not telling you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm not part of the problem. Also,
well, let's be real. In the canon of Flyover State of Film, Child's Play should have been off the board, and it should have been its own special.
Maybe.
That's fair.
All right, time to eat food. Where you guys can find you?
Brian.
At Hercules on Twitter, I guess.
Nobody's here. Hey.
Yeah, no one's here. No one listens.
What are you guys doing this week?
Are we plugging? Do you plug when you get to this part in the podcast when I'm doing it? If I'm listening to your podcast and you get to the plugs, I'm turning that shit off. It's over as far as I'm concerned.
It's over. It's done.
It's done.
We don't need to plug.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
God, you motherfuckers. Peace.
And if you're here because of the 3 episodes that we did of Flyover, and because we got a few new subscribers, please don't go away. We don't do 4-hour episodes all the time.
No, that's not really our bag, actually. All right, I gotta go spend the next half hour trying to get these tattoos off, guys.
All right, boys.
Bye.
Bye.
It still says recording on mine. I don't know what's up.